Welcome back to episode 11. I like to catch the boys off guard of Generations Behind, a retro video game podcast. I am one of your hosts, Craig of Craig's Game Room. Below me, the luscious one, the YouTuber, Tyler Haight.
Oh,
Tyler,
YouTube
welcome
channel.
on.
How's it going? Feeling a bit great now. Game collecting Reaper at its finest. Still can't change my hat though. My hat on Twitter is not different yet. But so maybe it'll be. I don't know. Maybe I'll change it. However, having a lot of fun. I got 2 videos out now. If you want to go check them out, probably won't be a third by the time this goes up. I was debating it, but there's 2 up right now. I'm trying. I'm still learning, but yeah, having a good time with it and looking forward to doing more.
Yeah. To the side of me, Mr. Zach Daily Beating. Zach, how are you today?
I'm doing great. I just watched one of Tyler's videos this morning, so it got my day off to a good start. Hoping to play lots of video games this long weekend and excited to talk with y'all.
Yes, of course. Yes, so a little bit of housekeeping. Tyler does now have a channel, Game Collecting Reaper. He has 2 videos up. One of them being an unboxing of a very rare game you probably didn't even know existed. And the other one is your recent con experience. So
Yes,
it's
sir.
very nice to see you get into the YouTube game with the rest of us. So everyone, please be sure to go over to his channel, subscribe, leave a comment telling everyone how luscious he is. We'll know that you are fans of this podcast if we see you calling him the luscious one in the comments. And as a heads up, episode 12, the next episode, Ape Escape. So if you guys want to play along with us, want to write in about the PS1 classic Ape Escape, Tyler is very excited because he's going to be kind of running that conversation. So you looking forward to that?
Oh, you know it. Ape Escape, one of my favorite games. Great time. It's pretty short, so if everybody just go give it a shot. It's on the PSN. You
Yeah,
can probably beat it
PSN.
in a weekend. Great.
Yes, you can play it on PS4 or PS5. Has trophy support. Has some little emulation things that Sony's implemented to their classic collection, which is cool if you either need that if you struggle with games sometimes, or if you just like to have that option. And yeah, they are pretty short. I think I got the platinum in like 7 hours, so definitely not
Yeah.
bad at all, and it's worth 100%ing for sure. So, yeah, I need to let you guys know that I went to get dinner before this. If you guys remember from last episode, McDonald's forgot my French fries. I was very heartbroken, very sad, and very hungry. Today, I go to Chick-fil-A on the way home from work before we do the show, get something to eat. They give me an extra fry that I didn't order, so it kind of makes up for it. I thought that was kind of funny. Just because that was exactly 2 weeks ago, I had the exact opposite problem. I didn't get any French fries, and this time I got a little too many, but I
They
was
probably
not
watched the
upset about it.
episode.
Exactly. And someone that worked there was like, "Oh, this is that chump on Craig's game room that didn't get his fry at McDonald's."
You didn't get it.
No, but this time I did. And you know what? Waffle fries? A little mid, but Chick-fil-A has very good mayonnaise, so you lather that bitch in some mayonnaise. You have some really good... Why are you laughing? They have the best mayonnaise. Them and
I've
Wendy's.
never heard someone. Yeah, the first thing I think of a Chick-fil-A is their good mayonnaise. Come on, man.
Yeah, I can't say. I don't think I ever had Chick-fil-A mayonnaise. So
I'm sure it's great.
Oh, it's the best. If I could buy that in the jar...
Nuggets.
No, if I could buy like a jar of Chick-fil-A mayonnaise like I could like a nice jar of Duke's, I'd be getting a couple
dude,
of
you
weeks.
gotta
You
go
gotta
to
do
a
that shit
Chick-fil-A
like
and be
water.
like, "Hey, do you sell the sauce?" And they're like, "Oh, the Chick-fil-A sauce." No, the mayonnaise.
The mayonnaise.
The real
I need, like, a
Chick-fil-A
tub of that.
sauce. Yes. They're like, show
So
me the
funny.
real Chick-fil-A sauce.
It's the Chick-O-Nays. Chick-O-Nays
Exactly.
sauce.
So thank you, Chick-fil-A, for brightening my day with that little self-fulfilling prophecy of extra French fries. We have some write-ins to start off the show, fellas. Patrick wrote in. He said, an episode on personal favorites that were critically panned would be fun. Also, how about a Dreamcast episode? So to start off, if you guys could think of any off the top of your head, I think it'd be fun for us to just list a couple of games that are considered garbage by the majority of people, but we still enjoy. The first 2 that came to mind for me, and I'm sure there's more, Croc, Legend of the Gobos. I love that game. Recently got announced as getting a remake, so I'm super excited for that. And also Sonic Shuffle. I love Sonic Shuffle, and everyone hates that game, but I thought it was super fun when I was a kid. Haven't played it since I was a kid, so it probably doesn't hold up, but I have a lot of good memories with it, so I want to give a shout out to Sonic Shuffle.
I was trying to think about that when you mentioned it, and then, like, the first thing that came to my mind was Croc, and then you mentioned Croc. Because originally I was like, yeah, it can't be that bad. Then when our buddy Christian Bird Dog Gaming played it, and I was like, yeah, this is actually not that great. So that would probably be
Does
one of mine.
does
But-
Mario Sunshine count as critically panned?
No,
Not
I
enough?
don't. I think that's more like audience than critics. I think it did
Sure.
review pretty well, but
Sure.
I don't know. I feel like it does get the worst rap of the 3D Mario's. Like people are usually like, "Ugh, Sunshine, the weird one," kind of thing.
Yeah, I can't think of anything else other than Croc because y'all said Croc, and that's like all that is occupying my brain now.
It's
I did
Croc.
enjoy Croc when I was a kid, so I'll play the remake when it comes out.
On Twitter today, I saw somebody retweet the announcement of the remaster, and somebody said,
Oh, I know what you're talking about.
I gotta clear out my Croc shelf for the
Yep.
remaster
I
physicals."
saw
And they
that.
literally had like a glass case full of Croc releases and magazines and stuff, and I was like, "This is the coolest motherfucker I've ever seen. I need to
I
be this
saw
guy's
that.
friend."
I saw that, and my first thought was I would love to have one like that of Ape Escape, but there's not a lot of Ape Escape stuff out there, and there's actually one thing I'm watching currently on eBay, like those Barrel of Monkey things. There's like an E3 promo where it's like Ape Escape ones,
That's
but it's
awesome.
sealed, so I don't know what they look like. But I'm like, man, that's so tempted. I want to buy it.
That's
But it's like
awesome.
$60 some, and I'm like, eh.
I don't know. I feel like that sounds like it's worth it. I can't imagine that being an easy thing to find.
Yeah, maybe.
And the second half
Nobody
of this
go buy
question, Dreamcast episode. Tyler, you're wearing a Dreamcast shirt. Clearly, you're a
Yo,
fan.
I wasn't even playing. Dude, I'm telling you, Skies of Arcadia, we got to do it.
Mm-hmm.
I would love to do Skies, and there's tons of other Dreamcast games, honestly, too.
Mhm.
Like, Dreamcast is a great console, underrated.
Mhm.
We could do Croc, the Dreamcast version. That'd be a great
Dreamcast
episode.
That
version.
doesn't
Croc.
exist. There's a Saturn version, but
Oh yeah,
mhm.
yeah. Shut up. Okay, I'm sorry.
Yes, I
But,
definitely think we'll do a Dreamcast version. Probably how we've been doing, like, we do a game for a console, and then we kind of been doing like a console themed episode after that. So whenever we get to a Dreamcast game, Skies of Arcadia might be that one. Although there's a GameCube version, and that would probably be the version that I would play just because of my bias towards the cube. So, but yeah,
For the
definitely do-
record, I told Craig right before we started recording that we should do an RPG episode after Clock Tower, which is going to be after Ape Escape. Skies of Arcadia could happen.
You're putting too much pressure on us.
Yeah, now I feel like we have to commit, but I think that's his point.
Well, actually,
I think he's
actually,
trying to
we gotta
pressure
give-
us.
We got to give it a little time because if we go that quick into an RPG, I don't know if Zach will start Persona 3 Reload, before.
Yeah, he already
Towards
has
the end
enough
of
excuses
November.
not to play it. So,
What's Persona 3 Reload?
earlier this week, Zach messaged me on Discord being like, "Hey, the DLC's coming out soon. Do I need to play that in the middle of it? Do I need to play it after? Like, what's the deal?" And I gave him a straight answer. I'm like, "Yeah, it's directly after the end of Persona 3, so you want to play it after, so you can start playing the game whenever." But part of me is like, is he asking this to be like, is this another excuse to put off Persona 3?
He said that, and I was gonna make a comment, but I was like, no.
I guess we'll find
I'll
out.
just let them go ahead.
I guess we'll see. All right, Jonathan wrote in. He said, "Would you guys have any plans on doing a Half-Life episode?" I would love to do that. I've had
That'd be
Half-Life
fun.
downloaded on my Steam Deck since I got it because that's just one of those essential games that I've totally missed out on, and I feel like it's a really big hole in my gaming history. And it's pretty much like the progenitor for the modern day FPS as far as I know. So definitely want to check that out. I don't know if either of you guys have played it. Have you?
Same thing as
Isn't
you.
it?
It's one of those games. It's on my wall of shame list.
Mhm.
So
It would make
I'd
for
be
a
down.
great episode.
And then we
Maybe
could do an
already
episode
kinda-
on our favorite PC games, and we could pick literally any game ever. So that'd be fun.
Bloons Tower Defense.
Hell
I mean,
yeah! Just all
we
of
shut
CoolMath.com's game
Heck
category.
yeah.
we shut down John's hopes for the next 89 episodes for Fallout New Vegas, so I think it's only right we eventually get a
Yeah, we have
Half-Life
we
episode.
have a while till we get to Fallout New Vegas because that's gonna be. We said it was episode 100, right?
99.
99.
99, there we
every
go.
3.
Yeah, so
So-
we got a little. We got a couple decades before we get there. It's fine. Matt wrote it, or no, Hector wrote in. Sorry, he said, "What type of RPG do you guys consider East to be?" I mean, they're action role playing games, right? Aren't they action games? I've actually never.
Yeah.
I've only played East Origin, which I thought was great, but I didn't know if that was indicative of the way the rest of the series plays or not.
Only played East Origin, man.
Yeah, you've played a lot of
Series
East,
is
haven't
so
you?
good.
Yeah, you've played a
Yes.
lot of it, right?
Hmm. I enjoy myself some East. East 10 coming out in 2 months,
Mm.
but I'll be in Texas, so I won't be able to play it right when it comes out.
Gotta cancel the trip. Priorities.
Trip canceled.
Sorry, guys. East
Sorry,
comes
Zach,
out.
we won't meet.
It's okay. I'll buy Ease and I'll just like have it on the shelf so you can look at it here.
There you
I'm
go.
just like, oh, that's
But not
nice.
play it.
Yeah, do you have any experience with Ease, Zach?
I do not. It's one of those. It's the East series, and then the other RPG series I've always wanted to get to is the Trails series.
Yeah.
Just those
Oh, I
series
got
that like
some
I know
thoughts about that.
they're there. I know I want to play them, but it's like, when the hell am I supposed to start this random other RPG series?
Yeah.
I'm sure we'll talk about that in this
with
episode.
10,000 entries and
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
but everyone that plays all those games always says that it's worth the investment. So
So they all
don't know.
say.
Yeah, so I know it's like, is it justifying the time put in, or do you really love it that much? Who knows? So
It's like when I see reviews for a Final Fantasy 14, it's like, yeah, if you want to play through all 300 hours to get to this last expansion, it's really worth it. I'm like, man, I don't know what the hell I'm supposed to do. Like, when am I supposed to do that?
I know that's what everyone tells me. They're like, yeah, Realm Reborn's pretty rough, and after that it gets great. But I'm like, but isn't Realm Reborn like many hours?
I played Realm Reborn. The front of the show, no, this is Brendan. We played probably 30, 40 hours of that game. I don't even think we were halfway through Realm Reborn. I don't know what was going on. I never got to any of the expansions, but it was a fun game.
And I feel like if I was playing an MMO, I'd want to play with friends, and then I'm not going to be focusing on the story, so it wouldn't really matter how good the story is anyway, because I'm going to be more focused on talking to my friends the whole time. So
Yep.
it's a conundrum for me, because it's like I love Final Fantasy, so it's like I'd love to get into it, but I don't know. There's just a lot of things holding me back. Like if
There
I were
was
to
this-
dive crazy into something, I think I would choose the Trails series before I would choose Final Fantasy 14, because it'd probably take just as long to get through it.
Yeah, honestly. There was this one MMO that, like, me and my buddy Matt, he's the next write-in, but we found that we're just going through the PlayStation Store trying to find different things. There was this MMO called Terra. Don't know if y'all ever heard of it,
Yes.
but oh dude, we invested heavy in that for like a week, and we got the platinum in like a week on an MMO.
That's
Like-
awesome.
But it was kind of like weird the way the leveling system worked, because like you picked your normal class. If you got to like level, I think it was like 60 or something, you were able to unlock the Reaper class, and obviously I wanted the Reaper class. And the
course.
Reaper class is like a little girl. Like, it's really odd. But when you start the Reaper class, you start off at level 75. So you get like a 15 level boost, and then you're kind of just overpowered, and then you do all this stuff.
Mhm.
I don't know. It was a fun time. I mean, I know MMOs are meant to be played for like a very long amount of hours, but it was pretty good.
Yeah.
Just want to throw that in there.
I just like when games end, so I like to see the credits roll and feel like I finished something. The one exception for me is Elder Scrolls Online. I'll still every once in a while go on a really big binge for that, because I just love the world of Elder Scrolls so much. But like I said, I like to finish games, so I try to stay away from that kind of stuff. Next write-in comes in from Matt, as you said. Matt said, if you could make your own JRPG game, would you make a brand new game series altogether, or make a game that continues its existing series, EX Chrono Trigger 2? I think that would technically be Chrono Cross, but I understand your example. Zach, you're rubbing your hands together like you have an answer.
So one of these days, when I finally get Miyamoto in a room, I've had this idea going around in my head for years now.
When
one of
you
my
get him in
favorite
a
series-
room.
One of my favorite series is the WarioWare series, and I also really like the Mario and Luigi games. I thought it'd be cool, a Mario and Luigi style RPG, but with Wario and Waluigi, and all of the battles are WarioWare mini games. And as you level up your stats, it makes like you can have like a timer stat where your timer goes longer, or you can like move around faster in the mini game. And all your random encounters are mini games, and then the bosses are big mini games.
Yeah, I'd play that.
That's a
Yeah.
That sounds
baller
pretty neat.
idea.
Yeah.
That's a really
So
cool
once
idea.
once I get Miyamoto close,
You corner
for sure
him.
know. Yep.
You're gonna make this.
You're gonna make this.
Tyler,
What?
would you make a new series or a sequel?
I think, oh, that's a tough question. Like, a new series, I don't know off the top of my head what I would exactly do, but a sequel would be kind of cool if I made like a Sonic the Dark Brotherhood sequel, but like kind of improved a lot to
Like
it. That
good?
Sonic RPG, yeah, make it good. Hey, there we go. There, Patrick. There's a game that got a lot of hate. Well, no, I didn't think it was good. Never mind. Scratch that.
Yeah, I was gonna
Yeah,
say no
I
one
was
likes
thinking
that
wrong.
game.
Yeah, but so if they made like Sonic the Dark Brotherhood, but made it better, or per se, they could even do a new story and kind of throw in like me myself. I love the Sonic Adventure, story and like the whole thing with
Hate it.
chaos and all that stuff. You be quiet. It's better than Super Mario 64. However, however, if they fully or like if we were to fully throw the whole story out there and actually show all the chaos forms, because it was Chaos 5. What was it? Chaos 5 and one other we didn't see.
I think 3,
5,
right?
3 and 5.
Three and 5 is like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It would be cool to be able to see everything, and then you could like just swap your. It'd be pretty neat.
Maybe we'll see it in Sonic Movie 4. Maybe Chaos will be the enemy in that.
That trailer. I watched that many times.
I still
Keanu
haven't watched
as
it just so I could
Shadow.
tell you. Just so I could tell you I didn't watch it.
You just wanted to disappoint him. I watched it. I was
I'm
very
gonna send you the
excited
link
too. I'm very excited.
Dude.
I feel like the Sonic movies are like pretty good, but not great. But I'm just happy that they exist. So I still wish that they would re-release like the first movie though with the original Sonic design. I would pay any amount of money to see that.
I saw
Dude,
lots of edits of a shadow with the design.
It's
Yeah.
so funny.
Dude, they should have put that as like a special feature or something on the Blu-ray or something.
It's
That'd
so
be great. Because they probably had it all done. Like,
Or at least very, very far along for sure.
yeah.
Because if I remember right, they delayed the first movie, right? Because of all the changes. Because I
Yeah.
think they pushed the date back. Crazy
They sure
times.
did.
So,
Best decision they ever could have made.
yeah, we would definitely not be here with Sonic Movie 3 if that would have came out like that.
Yeah,
no,
no, we would.
Nope.
No,
That movie would have done as bad as Borderlands, alright?
Oh yeah, the R.I.P. to the Borderlands movie. Randy Pitchford's having a good time right
Which
now on Twitter with that.
Borderlands, by the time you're listening to this, you can watch it on digital because it's done in the theaters.
Are you serious?
Yeah, this Friday. I mean, we're recording on Thursday.
Yes.
So, past Friday for you guys listening.
Bad. That's
But-
really bad.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it was a weird
gonna be for
choice to
3
cast
weeks.
all old people to play these young characters. That
Hey,
was
I'm a
very
big
weird.
Jamie Lee Curtis fan. Okay.
So am I, but
I seen
she
some
should
scenes
not.
where it was like in that movie, part of the one part of the trailer where they're opening the vault.
Mhm.
You can like see the camera guy in the background like
Yeah.
helping.
Oh
open
yeah,
the vault.
yeah, I saw
funny.
I was
that.
like,
I
dude,
saw
why
that.
would you leave that in? Oh,
It's so funny.
like I love the games, and I was like, oh, this might be cool, and I was like, I don't know.
And then Randy Pitchford said that it was another character that was cut from the movie, and that's what that person pulling up the vault is. And it's like, no. It's
Oh,
not.
he
What
said
a-
he had a reason for that.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Randy Pitchford's full of shit.
He's certainly a guy.
Yeah.
He is one of the
One of the
game.
persons of the planet.
Yes, exactly. If I were to make a JRPG, I wouldn't. I would just make another Panzer Dragoon Saga. That's all I want. Just either remake it or make a sequel. Or, you know what else I would love? I mean, we're obviously going to get Persona 6, even though we don't know much about it yet. I just am really hoping that we get a Persona in like a college setting. Just something a little different than high school. I think
Matt,
would be
Matt,
really
by
cool.
the way,
So,
Looking forward
Matt-
to a reason to play
Oh.
one of those. So.
Matt, by the way, is a huge Persona fan. He's actually the one that like got me into Persona.
oh, is he?
I
Nice.
feel like you two would have a good conversation about that.
Hell yeah. Could talk about why Kawakami is best girl in Persona 5.
It's funny because when I was at Too Many Games and I was talking to Mystic Ryan and Matt was with me,
Mhm.
and they started getting into it because Mystic Ryan's a huge Persona fan as well.
Yeah.
And then Mystic Ryan was like, "All right, so tell me, who are the best girls in Persona?" And then I forget who Matt said, but then he was like, "Nope, wrong, Kawakami."
I remember seeing in one of his videos that he has a
body
Kawakami
pillow?
body pillow, which is hilarious to me. So he's a real man of culture if I've ever seen one. All right.
Okay.
Enough of the shenanigans. I think it's time we talk about what we've been playing, boys. How about... I never remember who goes first in the previous episode. So, Tyler, you can go first. What have you been
Yeah,
playing, sir?
let me go first here because I'm definitely going last for pickups. So, what have I been playing? So, I picked up a game called Kandagawa Jet Girls,
Oh,
something like
no.
that. It's like,
This sounds like
yeah,
a degenerate game.
yeah, I was gonna say another one of those. I like jet skiing games. All right, so I picked it up,
Yeah,
and
okay.
then yeah, that's the main reason.
It's like,
Okay,
yeah, the
just
models are
listen.
great in this game. The jet ski
Listen.
models.
Yeah, the jet skis look
I love water
great.
physics.
Like, the bottom of it has some nice curves and stuff. They're great. So jet skis phenomenal. You can change the color of them and everything. You could buy like different outfits for the jet skis. Uh, but anyway, besides the point. Played that. Actually, played through the whole first story with the 2 jet skis. Uh, played through the first story. Dude, I gotta say, you could tell that they want you to do. I don't know. I'm just gonna leave it there. Leave it to your imagination. That game is so easy. Like, there's missions. I'm a trophy whore, and I want to, got to get my trophies. So I'm going through the game, and there's missions in each stage where you gotta like hit 5 enemies with a weapon. Like, it's like Mario Kart style. You pick up items and stuff. But dude, I'm always so far ahead. You can't hit anybody. You can't throw an item back. So then, like, I gotta stop for literally like 15 seconds for these people to catch up, just so I can use an item.
You're
Like,
just too good.
I don't know. No, I'm not. Probably not that good. Tried playing it online, but there's nobody playing it. Probably busy
Not
doing
enough
other things with
degenerates
the
out
game.
there.
But,
They're all too busy gooning at the title screen.
but played that. Also, me, Jonathan, and Jason. The one day we were like, "Oh, you know what? I wish PlayStation Home was back and stuff." So then there's actually this game called Atom Universe that's like PlayStation Home, and so we checked that out. It's kind of weird because a lot of people are on there like, "Oh yeah, we miss PlayStation Home," but none of them talk. They'll just stand there, and then we try chatting with people like, "Hey, how's everybody doing?" Nope, no reply. This one person was just telling us about how we can buy microtransactions. So we're like, okay, besides that. But anyhow, another game that I started, and I don't know if I want to keep playing or if I will wait, I don't know, is Trails in the Sky. I was like, I finally want to start this Trail series. I'm going to go through every single one in the timeline order. So, got Trails in the Sky on my Steam Deck, started playing it, and what do you know, 3 days later, Nintendo has a partner showcase, and they're like, in a 5-second snippet clip, oh, Trails of the Sky is getting remade. Okay, and on to this next headlight. And I was like,
What?
huh?
Now, is that that's the first one? That's
Yes.
the
Yeah.
original.
And I can't
yeah.
believe that was like in a sizzle reel. I feel like that is a much bigger deal than a sizzle reel.
Like, man, and now I don't know if I want to just halt because I'm not too far into it, maybe a couple hours. So I'm like, could hold off because that remake looks beautiful, by the way.
Yeah, it looks amazing.
Or
What was the date on it?
I think
2025. That's all I gave.
Yeah, but I think I thought it was early 2025, so I could be
Yeah.
wrong.
I would hope so because I don't know. I might wait. I'm not sure yet, but
Yeah,
yeah,
because
that's what I've been playing.
it looks like they're even using the same script. Like a lot of people have been posting side by side of like dialogue, and it's the exact same dialogue, which is kind of fun. So
Yeah, they have a Japanese trailer. I don't know if you've seen it. It's like 2-3 minutes.
mhm.
And they were showing like up here would be like PSP gameplay, or yeah, PSP, and then the rest would show the remake one for one how it was going. Yeah, it seems pretty faithful. It's
Mhm.
pretty cool.
Yeah,
But yeah,
I don't know. I part of me is in the same boat as you. I kind of want to wait for the remake, but then I'm like, is that gonna make SC and Third harder to play because they're gonna be more like the first
thought about that
PSP
too.
game too? Because they're not remaking all 3 of them, at least not as
Not
far
yet,
as we
yeah.
know. So, and it's like I feel
I'm
like
sure
the
they
longer
probably will.
the longer I hold off on the Trails series, it's just like One Piece. It's like I've been reading One Piece for many years now, and I'm still not caught up. I'm like, it's the same thing. The longer I kind of hold off, the more catching up gonna have to do, which is terrifying.
By the time this
So-
remake comes out, Daybreak 2 is probably going to be out.
Exactly, and
So-
it's like if I play nothing else by then, I might be halfway through the series by the time the remake's out. So, I don't know.
I don't
Tough decisions. I'm in the same boat as you, though. I'm not totally sure what I want to do. Very intimidating.
But
I'm
yeah.
thinking about playing the remake because I haven't played the game either. And I'm thinking I might that might be my excuse to dive into the series.
That's fair. The shiny
We all
new thing,
played
right?
the-
So
Yeah.
If we all played it, that'd be a cool episode.
true. It is. It's later PSP, but I guess whatever. Retros, whatever the fuck we feel like. Who really cares? Why do we need rules?
Heck yeah.
Zach,
Well,
what have you been
oh
playing?
man, now we're gonna have Jonathan saying retros whatever you feel like. Fallout New Vegas.
Exactly. And you know what? Fallout New Vegas is older than Trails in the Sky, so
Is it?
yeah, Trails in the Sky I think came out here in like. Actually, no, I think it came out. Okay, so I think it was like a PC game in Japan in like 2004 or something like that. And I don't think we got it here to like 2011 on the PSP. It's something weird like that. Like there's like a super big delay. Are you fact checking me real quick?
Oh, I am.
All right.
So Trails in the Sky came out here in 2004.
Oh, did it come out here? Okay.
That's what it says.
Lying to
Interesting.
our viewership.
I guess this is my final episode after all this
Yep.
time.
We've
After
been
all
looking
this
for
hard
the
work.
final nail in the coffin. I think this is it.
This is it.
We'll continue.
Oh, not
to
all
upload
the
on
other
your
egregious hot takes that
Whoa,
I have.
whoa, hold on. Take that all back. Take that all back. This website lied to me.
channel. I
I
guess
don't know
I'll
what's
get
wrong
off
with
the
it.
show.
So it was actually 2011.
Okay.
What did I say? What did I say?
You can stay for another episode, Craig.
Exactly. At least make it to Ape Escape, the one I've been looking forward to most. So, would love some Ape
It's gonna be a
Escape.
great episode.
Yeah, it's very exciting. Zach, what the hell have you been playing?
So I've been playing. I mentioned last episode I wanted to get back into NSO.
Yeah.
So I've been trying to play some N64 games. The ones I've been kind of playing the most, and I haven't been playing as much as I'd like still, but I did put a couple hours into both Turok, Dinosaur Hunter, and Perfect Dark because they're on the 17 plus NSO app.
I was about
had
to say,
check
so
it
you're
out.
on the M rated.
The M-rated one. I had to
Scandalous.
check out what that was about. I liked them both to varying degrees. I think I didn't grow up with like first-person shooters in the N64, so I think like GoldenEye, Perfect Dark, Turok, they all feel kind of weird to me. Just like I'm not good with like the single stick, aim forward, move forward with the stick, and then like use the C buttons. It feels weird to me.
Very weird.
But eventually, I was able to get my footing with them. But Turok, I was getting a little frustrated. And I thought Turok was harder than I expected. I didn't realize how hard that game was going to be. And also, I was getting lost real easy. Combination of like the N64 fog, and then just like being in like repetitive environments. I feel like I was just really lost when I was playing it. I wasn't using like a guide or anything. There's a map, but the map was not very helpful at all. But it was cool. It had a map.
Yeah.
I did enjoy Perfect Dark a little more because it's a little, from what I played the first couple levels, it's a little more linear and straightforward. I can't really get lost, You have to still look around the levels, but I didn't have, it didn't have the big open jungle with fog for me to get lost. I was in a building, and it was a little easier to figure out where I was going. But I was liking Perfect Dark. I'll probably stick with Perfect Dark. I don't know if I'll stick with Turok or not. I'll maybe give it another try. But I think I want to see Perfect Dark through to the end, especially with the new one coming out next year, maybe.
Maybe.
It'd be a good
Yeah.
excuse to play that, so I can play the new one.
Mm-hmm.
I played a couple modern or recent releases, modern releases, we're gonna call them, that came out this month. I played Castaway. That is another. My vice is I play every single indie 2D top-down Zelda-like that I see. And this one I just saw on Twitter, and there people were like, "Oh, Castaway! It looks like Link's Awakening," and I just like went to my Switch and just bought it, and then just
Say less.
yeah. And it is like unashamedly Link's Awakening, at least at the beginning. It's like $8, so pretty cheap game, but it's only like 2 hours long. I think I beat the entire game in one sitting,
Wow.
which I kind of enjoy having those every once in a while. I like
Yeah.
having a good game I can like turn on, sit down, enjoy, never think about it again.
Move on, yeah.
So The first half of the game is like a traditional 2D like um, explore, dungeon with an upgrade, boss. And then you get 3 times explore, dungeon, upgrade, boss. That probably takes 45 minutes to an hour. And then there's a 50 floor like roguelike combat challenge.
Oh, interesting.
Um, where you basically it's the same enemy types, same mechanics. You have a roll, you can swing your sword to knock projectiles back, but you can like level up by killing the enemies. You can upgrade your sword swing, you can get more hearts, you can get stuff like that. Fun little game. If you want a couple hours of fun, it's $8. That's what you're looking for. It's pretty fun. And then last one, I've been playing SteamWorld Heist 2. If you played SteamWorld Heist 1, it's basically that. They're like I guess you'd call them turn-based tactical. I guess it's kind of like I've never played XCOM, but I think they're like XCOM games. Like you're taking cover, you're shooting enemies over the cover, trying to like. Um, this game has a lot of like mechanics with like you bounce the bullets off the walls, and you can like see you like have a line of sight where you can see where it's gonna bounce, and you can
Oh,
like try to bounce them off of walls and hit enemies from behind and stuff. Um,
Hmm.
there's different like job classes. There's like a class with a rocket, shotgun, SMG. They all do different things and they have different perks and abilities. Pretty fun game. And then the SteamWorld games in general I like their connected like lore and story that they all kind of tell. So if you played a SteamWorld game, I'm at the part where it's about to fight the space people, which you do in every single SteamWorld game, and it means I'm at the end. So
there you go.
um, fun game though.
Cool. Yeah, I have no experience with the Steam World games, but I've always been interested. They look very interesting. So,
Yeah, I appreciate that they've made what like I don't know 8, 10 games, and they have a really good variety of genres, which I think
yeah.
is really cool. They're not just doing SteamWorld Dig 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. They've done all sorts of different genres to keep it fresh, but they're all kind of they all have that feeling of like the SteamWorld um, vibe. So
Yeah, and I do feel like there is a ton of them. You're right, and it's all the same developer. I'm assuming too. Like
yeah,
they don't
well,
outsource it to anybody.
not that I'm aware of. I know they used to be called Image and Form, and now they're Thunderful Games. I think they merged with somebody. I don't know if when that merger happened, if they're I don't know the names of the people making the game, but um, at least on the outside looking in, they have the same feel and look like it's the same people making the game. But I don't know that 100% for sure.
Good to know.
Yep.
Cool
Nice.
beans. All right, I've been playing a shit ton of fighting games. So I got the Capcom Humble Bundle. I don't know if you guys have seen this on Twitter or anything, where it's a ton of very good games for $30. And one of the games included was the Capcom Fighting Collection, which mostly consists of Darkstalkers games, which is a series I had pretty much no familiarity of. I knew
Felicia.
what.
Sorry, I said Felicia.
Yes, Felicia's my girl. I was gonna get to that. So I know a lot of the characters just because of like Marvel versus Capcom and different crossovers throughout the years. But I've never actually played the games, and I was curious. And man, they were fucking awesome. So I played through the arcade. I did an arcade mode, like just run for Darkstalkers, for Vampire Savior 1 and Vampire Savior 2. Vampire Savior 1, I think, is definitely my favorite. The roster, the pixel art, the music, the ridiculous speed, everything about it is just super super fun. Vampire Savior might be like one of the best fighting games I've ever played. Period. Like I'm so sad that I didn't discover it until like this late in my life because I'm just like, wow, it's way too late to get good and be competitive at this game because there's people that have been playing this for like 3 decades now. But everything about it is super fun. Most people just know the Darkstalker series because of Morgan, a very popular Capcom character, the vampire lady with the green hair and stuff, or the succubus, I guess, if you want to be technical. But yeah, Felicia's definitely my girl. She's like the cat lady, definitely the most fun to play in my opinion. Her combos are really silly and stupid. She has a really dumb move where you could just jump on people's heads and stand on their heads for a little bit. And it doesn't really do anything, but it's funny. You could combo in and out of that and stuff. So had a lot of fun with those. Very difficult though. Those games are very very hard. They are absolutely relentless unless you play on the easier difficulties. I did have to dumb it down to baby mode to beat the original Darkstalkers, I will admit, but 1000% recommend. You know, they bring it back at Evo one year, which they never will. I'll try out just for fun because I live in the same town that they do Evo in every year. So, shout out to the Darkstalker series.
Shout out
Don't
to
they bring
Evo
back
for my
like
free
one retro
Chipotle.
game a year?
Yeah, and it's, as far as I know, it's usually a Street Fighter. So, like, I think they did Third
Okay.
Strike this year, which was cool too.
Yeah.
But yeah, if they ever did like Vampire Savior or something randomly, God, I'd be so over that. I think it'd be so fun because it's like I've been too afraid to go online, but I've just been doing multiple arcade runs over and over and over again because I'm just enjoying it that much. So the first time in a long time I've played a fighting game that I've been like, man, this is so cool, so different, and now I feel really bad and sympathize for all those people that have been begging for a new Darkstalkers game for all these years because I'm like, I get it. I'm like the Danny DeVito gif where it zooms on his
I
face
get
and he's
it
like, oh
now.
my god, I get it now. Yeah, that was me after I played these games. I was just like, this is what I've been missing out on. They're so good. And I'm upset though because for some reason the Capcom Fighting Collection is weirdly scarce on PS4 and Switch all of a sudden. I don't remember it being a hard game to find, but now I can't find any
I haven't
affordable
seen
copies.
it often.
Now, I used to see it in stores around me all the time, and I was like, oh, I'll wait for a sale. Oh, I'll wait for a sale, and I just never bought it. And now that I actually want it, I can't find it, except for on Xbox, which is, unfortunately, the last place I want to own it, because I don't have an Xbox that read discs. I have an Xbox
So what do you-
Series S, so...
What are you trying to get? Like a PS4 copy or a Switch copy?
Preferably, because I think it'd be fun to try to do the trophies. The Platinum is disgusting, though. I'd never do that. You have to beat every game or every arcade run in every game with every character to get the Platinum, and I'm like, that is
Oh,
absolutely disgusting.
Dang.
So I'm like, I would never do that. That is terrible.
I
And
just
way
hung
too
up some
much work.
Darkstalkers 3 figures right here. I don't know if you're gonna see. it
Oh,
on
do
the
you?
podcast,
Nah, you're
but-
not. Isn't they're not in view, unfortunately.
Ah, dang. Okay.
But
Well,
yes,
yeah, just hung those up literally like 10 minutes before we started.
yes.
popping
But
on it.
I do know that Darkstalkers 3 does have a North American PS1 release, so I might try to pick that up because that is the North American release of Vampire Savior 1, which was my favorite of the bunch. So I'm gonna have to try to get a copy.
Also, shout out to Capcom, man, for doing all these collections.
Yes,
Like
yeah.
Capcom Fighting Collection 2, Bar Wars Capcom. Like, dude, they're really like
yes.
putting it down. Just
The Fighting
announcing,
Collection 2 was like all stranded Dreamcast games, and I'm so excited
Mhm.
about that.
like
When I saw
Power
that,
Stone
I was like,
coming
oh
back.
my god,
I've always
yes!
I want to play Power Stone so bad. I was excited
Dude,
when I saw
Power
that.
Stone, those games are so fun. 1 and 2 are both awesome. I
Now
cannot
you're able to do
wait.
it online. Like, dude,
It's gonna be
So
so
good.
cool.
shout
Absolutely.
out to Capcom, man.
I know, and then they're doing like a comic book comes with pre-orders of the Marvel vs.
Mhm.
Capcom collection and stuff, like lots of really cool stuff. So
I got that pre-ordered.
yeah, shout out to
That's it.
Capcom. They're keeping old games alive, especially games that haven't been accessible for a very long time. So I think it's really cool of them to be doing stuff like that. So I played through those 3 Darkstalkers games I mentioned, and then I also did a run of Super Puzzle Fighter 2 Turbo, which is one of my favorite puzzle games of all time. Pretty typical in terms of you match the colors to do different combos, this, that, the other, like many other kind of falling block puzzle games. But it just has really cute art, really fun art style. I love like the chibi Darkstalkers and Street Fighter models that they use in a couple of
Yeah.
games from that era. So just had a lot of fun with that. I usually play through that every once in a while. But since it was in that collection, I didn't know. It was a nice surprise to scroll through the games and be like, oh shit, Super Puzzle Fighter 2's on here. Let's go. So, had a lot of fun with that. And then I started another big Journey game because I can't commit to anything. I haven't touched SMT3 since the last time we talked, even after I talked all that big game.
Oh.
So, I'm still probably going to go back to it. I just haven't been spending a lot of time in the game room because life has been busy lately, going out of town and working, yada yada. The Steam Deck's just more convenient. So, but
You said earlier in this episode you like finishing games, so what
that's
gives?
also true. I'm
Didn't
Yeah,
say
you
that.
Also-
mentioned it.
a pathological liar. So I started Skies of Arcadia.
He hates the
Um,
mayonnaise at Chick-fil-A.
Fuck mayonnaise, Chick-fil-A mayonnaise. It's all about their ketchup. So yeah, I started Skies of Arcadia, playing that on my Steam Deck through the Dolphin emulator. Having a really fantastic time so far. It is a very, very charming game. Kind of typical turn-based. You have in battles like X amount of points that you can use for attacks for each round, but you can either focus to charge up those points or just like use one super powerful move, but then your other characters can't go that turn. That kind of mechanic. So I'm only about 3 hours in so far, but so far I'm a big fan. I did one ship combat battle so far that I didn't think was bad, just kind of weirdly slow. So I'm not sure how often that's going to be, or if maybe they add some more mechanics to try to spice that up later on in the game. But so far I'm into it. I just always like the aesthetic of the game. The music that I've heard from it over the years is great, and the characters in it are very, very charming. So I'm excited to finally dive deeper into that. And that might be one of our game-focused episodes coming up in the future, since Tyler's putting a little bit of pressure on us. So I figured I might as well try to get ahead of the game. Zach will get to the final boss and not finish it in time. So.
Oh, only reason I'll say this, that I'm putting a little bit of pressure on it, is before this podcast, we originally had, I don't know if I said this on here, but I know I talked to them about it.
Mm-hmm.
So before this podcast, me and Craig originally had an idea of doing like a book club type thing, but with video games. And one of our first ones was going to be Skies of Arcadia. So I was like, you know what? That would be kind of neat,
Yeah, that was like kind of the progenitor to this show. So it'll be fun to finally fulfill that kind of original conversation we had probably like 2 or 3 years ago now. So
yeah.
So I've been playing a good variety of games lately. A little bit of fighting, a little bit of JRPG. But I definitely want to get back to play some more SMT, probably this weekend, since it's a long weekend and I don't really have too many plans. Besides my wedding anniversary, so obviously I'll be busy that day. But other than that, I know. I met Tyler almost a year ago today, so...
In the flesh, dude.
Exactly. And we went to Goodwill and found nothing but Connects, so that was kind of fun. I'll always remember that. Like, let's see if we can find any games that were just like dirty Connects.
What about Wii Fit boards?
There was no Wii Fit boards. Not a single Wii Fit board. Nothing but Connects.
I was like, oh man, Goodwill in Vegas gotta be something good. Nope. We got Connects. But then we had some great sushi, so I gotta give it to it.
Exactly. All you can eat sushi is the best kind of sushi. Alright, boys. Recent game collection pickups. Zach, do you have anything for us? Tyler said you wanted to go last, so...
I don't have anything good to show. So I technically have one thing I'll show. So I have one thing coming in tomorrow. I was hoping to have in time. I'm trying to get the Switch Pokemon games that are opposite the ones I have. Because I want to have them just so I have all the Pokemon games. And two, I'm trying to finish my Pokemon Home Pokedex. So I figure if I'm going to replay some of the games, I might as well get the other version I don't have.
That's fair.
So I have a copy of Let's Go Eevee coming in. I'm going to play some Let's Go Eevee. But that's a boring one. The one thing I did get is gaming related. I got a new case for my Playdate.
Ooh, that's so funny.
Shirt you made. That shirt you made was great.
Thank you. It's a pizza box that opens
that's
up
awesome.
to the... Yeah.
Oh, that's so funny.
So,
everybody, if you haven't, go to Daily Beaton's channel and look at his Playdate short that he made. He made a little song about it. It's fantastic. Great.
Yeah.
You've made me interested in a Playdate, even though I never really was before.
It's hard for me to. The reason I don't push it on people is because it is it's just $200 for this thing. The games are fun, but like I'm never gonna like put one of these on like a top 10 list. They're fun games. They're good distractions. This is the perfect thing to keep in your pocket if you want to have something easy to keep in your pocket because it's small. It has great battery life and there's a good variety of like good handheld games. But for $200, I hate to recommend it to somebody and have them not like it, But the crank is pretty cool.
Clicky, clicky, clack, clicky, clicky,
Do a lot of
clack.
developers take advantage of the crank?
I would say most of them do. So the way this thing works, it comes with a season of games. So every week you get 2 games, and the timer starts when you turn it on. Not like if you get one right now, you don't get all the games. Your timer will start when you turn it on, and every week on the day you turned it on, you get 2 more games that like show up on your Playdate.
Interesting.
So I got it when it first came out, so I was like playing them at launch with all the Playdate weirdos. And you could still
and all 3 others.
Yeah, if you actually have a video of every Playdate game on the channel playing them. But if you were to get one now, you could still experience that same like unboxing a game every week.
That's really cool. I like that.
It's a cool idea. I hope
Very
they do a second
interesting.
season. But what they did was after they finished the first season, they opened up the catalog, which is essentially just like the PSN or the eShop. And there's a lot of cool indie developers putting games out there. There's a ton of variety. They put out little like catalog, basically like little mini 1 minute playdate directs every week or so, where they show like some of the new catalog games coming. There's cool stuff in there. You'll find if you want to play games in there, there's some good variety, but
Hell
a
yeah.
little pricey up front.
Yeah. It does seem cool, though. Alright, I guess I'll go next. So, got a couple of non-game related things, but I want to show them off anyway because they're fun. So I was able to get 2 of the Hello Kitty McDonald's toys. I got the Dark Magician Girl My Melody, and the There It Is, and I got the Cinnamon Roll Blue Eyes White Dragon, or my mother, who went to McDonald's because she found out that they had these, she wanted to surprise me with one. So she gets this and she texts me saying, I got the Hello Kitty Squirtle for you. So thank you, Mom, for the Hello Kitty Squirtle. I thought that was really wholesome. That made me happy. So shout out to my
That's
mom.
so awesome.
Thought that was really funny and sweet of her because I didn't ask her to do that. And she was just like, oh, I thought you'd like it. It's Squirtle, your favorite Yu-Gi-Oh monster. So
My mom has bought me Mario wall art that you'd see, I put in like an 8-year-old's room, like from Hobby Lobby. She's like, here's this like framed picture of Mario. I'm like, thanks, Mom.
Does she say Mario or does she say Mario?
It's this.
Mario.
Yeah, she says it's this like weird thing up is. There you go.
Hell
Mario.
yeah. I used to have a portrait of Link from Ocarina of Time. I got the same way. She got it from Ross. And she's like, it's that
Yeah.
Zelda you like. And I'm like, oh, thanks, Mom.
Thanks, Mom. It is that Zelda I like.
Like growing
true.
up, my dad would always be like, "Oh, here, Pokemon cards," and I'm like, "Yeah, Pokemons."
Pokemans. I kept the box because I opened it already, but I wanted to show just because how cool it looks. The Yu-Gi-Oh! Retro packs. So
Ooh,
this is
that's
just
cool.
a collection of a bunch of old retro cards, but super neat product, and I thought the box was super cool, so I wanted to show it off because I'm keeping it on my shelf just because I think it looks super neat. I did get some good pulls, too. I got my Time Wizard, I got Relinquish, so I got some good stuff out
Love
of
the
there.
Time Wizard.
Yes, all-time classic.
Quick card question for y'all.
course.
I was tempted to go buy some Pokemon cards this last weekend, and I was at Target looking at the options. I wasn't aware this is a thing, but are there like third parties that like repackage Pokemon packs and like sell them?
Yeah.
Because I found those like this doesn't look like a real.
And then they
What
say
is
you
this?
have like you have a chance to get like an old retired pack, like
And you
Fossil
never
or
do.
Jungle or something. Yeah,
Okay.
don't hope on it. Don't buy
Okay, yeah,
those.
'cause I didn't buy any of them. I was looking at like this like box and I was like, this is not Pokemon Company. What is this? And it's like
Yeah.
I promise there's Pokemon cards in here. I'm like, I don't know what there is. Like,
There's a pack, and it's probably like a Wade booster pack or something. You know.
Okay.
You open it, and
so-
it's a bomb.
so
Um,
generally avoid those or
Yeah,
what's the-
100%.
Yeah.
The
Okay.
Yu-Gi-Oh loves to do that too, where people do that with Yu-Gi-Oh cards, where it's just like 20 loose cards in a pack, and it's like one rare included. And one time I bought one just because I was so curious, and it was like a random card in Spanish of
That's
not
rare,
even
dude.
an actual rare. So it was awesome. So shout out to those resellers of whatever they are. I don't know how they get away with that. I feel like it almost seems like that'd be something they'd be going after, but who
And
cares?
is it like
I got
a
Final
Target?
Fantasy
It's like-
10.
Oh, let's
Sorry, go on. I
No, I was
spoiled
just
it.
surprised. Wait, no, you go.
Final Fantasy 10, Squaresoft print. I thought it was cool for $10, and I didn't have it for some reason. So, shout out to that.
Hey,
Go
why
ahead.
not?
Sorry, I don't want
Oh, I
to
was just
interrupt you.
I was just agreeing with you that it didn't feel like it was real, but it was at Target, so I was like, I guess this is official.
Yeah, they do that at Target and Walmart. You'll find that. So, to let
Nice.
anyone sell anything at those chumpy stores, that's not true. I love Target. I'm a Target girly through and through. But yeah, I was very excited to have this. I don't know how uncommon it actually is to find the Squaresoft print, because for a while I remember people really cared about that, but I feel like I see this more often than people say. It is like it's not as scarce as people say. So, but I still
Sure.
thought it'd be cool to have either a first print or early print of such an important game, and it was only $10. So, and I just haven't bought any video games in a while, so I was like, I feel like I need to buy a video game just to make myself happy. So
There you go.
that's the game I
Have
want
you
to get
played
back
10?
to too.
That's the one you started playing, right?
Yeah, I started
Just
that
like,
the very first episode I talked about. I was playing the Vita version, so and I do want to get back to it eventually. I just haven't charged my Vita in a while, and really, just getting my Steam Deck ruined everything for me. It's ruined my productivity in finishing games because the possibilities are so endless on that thing. So
yeah.
Steam Deck is a blessing and a curse.
The Vita
Indeed.
means life. You better charge it.
That's true. It's dead. The Vita is dead. Tyler, why don't you go ahead and show us your
The Vita
10,001
is dead.
games? There it
Okay.
is.
So yeah, speaking about not buying a game in a while, I bought too many games in a while. So before I get to the games real quick, I went to this. I actually went to 2 expos since we last talked. That's kind of crazy. So went to this one called ZoloCon. Didn't have a lot of games, but I just picked up some stuff for the Sonic collection. I want to show real quick. Super
Hell
Sonic
yeah.
Pop. And I got this Loot Crate Sonic. It was in a bin for only $5. So I was like, I'll spend $5 for a Sonic figure. Why not?
Hell yeah.
So got those. They're just gonna go right there for now. Then buddy Christian, Bird Dog Gaming, he sent me a link to get this Spyro Attack of the Rhinox
Ooh.
on Game Boy Advance. Cool thing about this, if you don't know, if I could pull it out real quick, it came with a skin for your Game Boy Advance SP. Pretty neat.
That's cool.
So, it's the main reason I bought that. So now I have every Spyro game complete on the Game Boy Advance. They had the cartridge for this. This was everything but the cartridge.
Hell yeah.
Nice.
Craig sent me a link to a person on eBay, or
Ah.
not eBay, on Instagram that was doing a claim sale and found this for a really good price. It's
Hell
sealed
yeah.
on the Vita. I actually bought a Vita game finally.
First time in a while, huh?
Yeah, it has been. Got this sealed for it was like $23 or something, which is pretty good on that one. You don't see it often.
Nah, it's pretty uncommon Vita game.
Moving on. Another thing. Viewer of here, Chris X Button Gaming. He actually gifted me this copy of the Evil Within PlayStation Hits,
Oh.
which, if you don't know, this one's actually really hard to find, kind of like the other one. So now I'm only missing one that's hard to find, which is Dragon Age Inquisition. So, Chris, thank you. Appreciate that. Didn't have to do that, but limited run games, they had blind boxes. I bought a PS5 one and a Vita one. PS5 one, I probably should have opened these right away, but
I was gonna say, have you owned them yet, or are you seeing this for the first time?
No, I opened them already. Shredders,
Oh, interesting.
snowboarding game. Looks really realistic, from what I saw.
Oh, interesting.
And then the Vita one, yeah, me, Jonathan, and Jason, we each bought one of each, and we opened them all together.
Nice.
Then on the Vita, I got Darius first.
Oh, nice.
So didn't have that one, so I was kind of glad about that.
Yeah, I almost did it, but I would have been very annoyed if I got one that I already had. So that's why I decided not to do it.
And then one of my other limited run games purchases, I ordered the Grandia HD collection
Hell yeah.
for the PS4, and to my surprise, limited run sent me 2 copies. Don't know why. Showed up with 2 at my house with the same exact tracking number on the package. I'll take it.
Congratulations.
I have
Doug
had
and
2
Josh are going to
Grandias.
be knocking at your door soon. They're like, hey, you have something
hey,
of
you need to give
ours.
it back. Then I'll just lick it and be like, it's mine.
Lick it.
2 more games I got while I was out. This is the Kanagawa Jet Girls game. See, that's a very nice jet ski right there.
It's a
With
beautiful
curved
jet
stuff.
ski.
So, got that. Also bought Summon Night 6. Found it for a pretty
Oh.
good price, 25.
Yeah.
Which I didn't know. It has disc variants of
Oh.
the girl and then the guy.
That's
and
cool.
The girl one, of course, goes for more. I didn't know that. I learned that when I was
Funny.
putting it in my Game Eye app, and it was like, "Oh, do you have this one or this one?" And I was like, "What?"
How funny. Do you have the Vita version of that game?
I do.
Mhm.
Do. I like the manual for it. Pretty hefty manual, you know.
Oh my gosh, yeah, it has a huge manual.
All right. Then went to a convention, Retro World Expo. It's what one of my videos are about. So I'm gonna just go over these real quick. I talk about them a little more detail in the video. Foster's Home for the DS. Got that actually at a game store in
That's fun.
Connecticut. Same with Asphalt 3D. Didn't have it. Figured why not. Those 3DS games are cool. Greg can agree.
Hell yeah.
Crash Mind Over Mutant.
Oh
Not
god, that looks
the-
disgusting. What is that
it's-
picture of Crash?
It's If you never played this one,
It's
don't.
hideous.
I don't want to.
It's like, look at this one.
Repulsive.
How about
Oh no, gosh.
Hard
He has
pass.
like tattoos and that and stuff. I don't know if you ever actually seen that.
He's inked.
The two better games I got on the PSP, Legend of Heroes 1 and 2. Pick those up.
I'm pretty jealous of those. Those are cool games.
Just need 3 now, but 3 goes for over $100, and I wasn't dropping it. They had one there, but I wasn't dropping it yet.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's been over 100 for a while now.
Yeah. Super Stardust Ultra VR. It's a European release, but Super Stardust Ultra was a PSN only game, and then I found out it had a physical, so I figured I'd grab that with a VR mode, which would be kind of cool.
Yeah.
Redout, which is pretty much like Wipeout, essentially. Got this one, which Spike Volleyball. Not a big volleyball guy, but I think this might be something in the future.
Yeah,
Who knows?
probably an
Whenever,
uncommon game.
yeah, when people start caring about PS4, give it like 20 years.
It'll happen.
Yeah, I'll be ahead of the game for once. So, Rico, another game I haven't never seen much. Rising Star Games did it. Got that. Also got Helmut. Never seen that one before, so I figured why not grab it. But GS2 Games published it, and usually they publish pretty bad games, so don't got much hopes on that. At the convention, I met 2 voice actors, trying to get every Sonic figure signed. So, got Jet the Hawk,
Hell yeah.
Shut your beak.
beak.
That's
He
fun.
also did the voice of Sonic and Shadow from 2010 back, if you didn't know. And then Pete Capella got Super Silver.
Hell yeah.
That was pretty cool. It's cool talking to them. They did some of the voices and told me about their favorite Sonic game and stuff.
That's fun.
And then got too much stuff here. Buddy Vinny hooked me up with this Sega magazine,
Ooh, that's cool.
Japanese Sega magazine for Sonic Adventure 2.
That's dope.
That's
which
awesome.
I'm dropping stuff right now.
It's an embarrassment of
That's what
riches.
sounds right. Yeah, kind of. So went to this one booth and they had a little piece of like paper thing sitting on their one glass cabinet and it said Respawn Records Golden Ticket. So I picked it up and I was like, oh, and then he was like, oh, you won. And I was like, what do you mean I won? So he sent me over to this booth and they were like, oh yeah, it's the Golden Ticket, so you get to pick any record for free.
That's
So
cool.
I got their Banjo-Kazooie vinyl,
Oh,
picked
cool.
that up.
Rejiggied. That's funny.
So then that also came with an autograph from the composer, Grant
Oh.
Kirkhope.
That's cool.
That was neat. And then for sale, out of his personal collection, he had this Sonic vinyl that I picked up.
Is that Mania?
No, it's like older stuff.
Oh,
I
interesting.
think. I might be wrong. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. But and then I just wanted to show real quick. This has a pretty cool like CD-ROM in it. I kind of want to like figure out what it is
Yeah, you
Ooh.
because
should.
I have no clue.
That'd be
But
interesting.
lastly, my last pickup, the one I was getting to, my first YouTube video. Sega Fun Pack on PSP, one you probably
Beautiful.
don't know existed, but guess what? It does because I am holding it in my hands. Pretty cool. There's also a Sega Fun Pack for the PS2 and the Wii, if you don't know. This one I would say is probably the most rarest of the 3. And then it would probably be PS2 and then the Wii, because the Wii there's like probably like 4 listed right now, but
Oh, wow.
no one like $800, and you can get it for cheaper if you just wait.
Mhm.
So, but yeah, those are my pickups. I think. Wait, hold on. One last thing I wanted to
Holding
show.
on.
Got the school Gengar sign.
Oh, hell yeah.
Oh, nice.
That's
It
dope.
lights up.
Let's go.
That's really cool. How fun.
Gotta find a spot for that. Now, yeah,
Do you like
That's all.
Gengar?
he's all right. I mean,
He's a
probably in top 10.
Damn, top 10.
number
And then
10,
I showed
of
this
course.
when Craig showed it, but I got
Hell
the Dark
yeah.
Magician Girl. Shout out to Jonathan to walking across from our Connecticut hotel at like midnight to get me a Happy Meal. Real MVP
That's
out
funny. I know. I really want to get all the McDonald's Hello Kitty Yu-Gi-Oh toys. And I did the math. Right now on eBay, you could buy all of them for $60, and that is cheaper than buying 9 Happy Meals. So I might just buy them all on eBay.
Did you try asking if you could buy just the toy?
They wouldn't let me. I went to McDonald's the other
don't.
day, and it probably depends on which McDonald's you go to. But the one I went to, I asked if I could just buy the toy, and they're like, "No, you gotta buy a Happy Meal."
Dude, I
So-
remember when the Pokemon cards came back, like, kind of during COVID time
man.
at McDonald's. And, like, I was going around, because I don't want all these Happy Meals. I was like, do you sell them just individually? They're like, no. But there was this one McDonald's that did. Dude, and they let you buy, like, 12 at a time. Like, they'd be like, max 12. I was like, yeah, let me get 12,
So you're
spent
going
like
crazy.
$24 on McDonald's Pokemon cards, but I kind of
Hell
want to go
yeah.
check that McDonald's out and see if they do
That's-
it.
I know.
When those
But we
Pokemon
didn't-
cards happen. Oh, go ahead, Craig.
No, I was gonna say we didn't get the Red Eyes Black Dragon one though in North America. Super weird. That toy came
Yeah.
out in Europe, but not here. It's really weird. I don't know why.
And if I seen
Europeans.
right, like I don't know if it's official, but I guess in the U.S. they came in bags, but they came in like special like boxes or something.
Yeah, like fancy little
other
cardboard boxes in the other
Yeah,
countries.
like-
Way nicer,
They're like, you silly Americans, you don't get none. But
pretty much.
oh well.
It's like that. But they're
And-
really adorable. So
Yeah, that's all. Besides these little mystery figure things that I opened, I got a little Umbreon
Oh.
one.
that's cute. I like that.
I bought this haunted one, and I was like, whichever one's heaviest is probably Gengar. And Jason was like, this is the heaviest one, and it
And
is
it was
Gengar.
Gengar.
Let's go.
My top 10 favorite Pokemon. And and then there's this one where if you get them all, it's like a giant tree that stacks up, and each part has a Pokemon on it.
Oh,
And the one I got has like Eevee in a basket
cute.
with a little star. Yeah.
How fun.
Oh yeah, that's everything that I bought.
It's been busy the
much.
last couple of weeks.
Oh yeah. Next episode, hopefully you see me only holding up Astrobot. So
Oh
we'll
yeah,
see.
that'll be out by then, huh?
yeah, I'm excited.
God,
Well, and the controller
September.
because I'll have the controller for it.
September's gonna be such a good month for games. September and October,
It's.
so loaded.
I'm making a. I'm working on a video this weekend about the September games I want to play, and it's disgusting how many
Yeah.
good games are coming out in September.
Trying to think.
man.
And the Persona 3 DLC, which is big enough to be its own game. So
What was that? What's the?
shut up. We're not talking about it. Tyler, why don't you teach us a lesson? It's time for
Oh, I
Tyler's
sure
history
will.
lesson. We are going
You just
to
heard me
learn
talk for 30 minutes,
some stuff together.
and now you're gonna hear me talk for another 30. All right,
There we go.
here we go. So history
Oh, wow.
starting on. What?
Sorry,
You
I
good?
was just like, you
Okay.
said another 30 minutes. I'm like, how long have we been going? I'm like, Jesus Christ, it's already been an hour. It's going to be a long ass
An
episode.
hour? Oh man, it's alright. Y'all gonna love it. So
We are
August
yapping today.
we are talking about that Chick-fil-A mayonnaise.
Mhm.
So August 20th, 2008, Chick-fil-A announces that they're going to. No, I'm just kidding. 2008, Sony reveals the PSP 3000. All right. Had to fit something in for that day because nothing else was really viable.
Fair.
August 21st, 2001, Capcom releases Resident Evil Code Veronica X for the PS2.
Hmm.
August 22nd, 1987, Nintendo releases The Legend of Zelda for the Nintendo Entertainment System in the US, and this was the first NES game with a battery-powered save feature.
Hmm.
No, pretty cool.
Fairly important video
That's
game.
probably like a huge thing back then. Like, you can save your game. Like,
God, I know. I hate password systems so much.
Oh,
they
yeah.
I
make
like
me
to
wanna
imagine
cry.
there was a cohort of gamers who were like, "Ah, real gamers don't save their games. They play them from the start over again.
save
Yeah,
states.
Yeah,
Save states.
yeah, exactly.
So,
Have we all
Uh,
played the original Zelda or no? I'm curious. Have you played it, Tyler?
Yep.
I played it. I haven't beaten it, though.
It's fucking hard, so.
Yeah.
Yep. I played on the Doorstopper 2DS because you could do save states in that, so it made it a lot easier.
I played through it on the Wii U, was how I beat it, so.
Wii U.
Nice.
Shout out to my
And
Wii
it's
U
R.I.P.
enjoyers.
It's a good game for being damn near 40 years old now. I mean,
Yes. It's I think it's more obtuse than people give it credit for. Like people like to give Zelda 2 a lot of shit and I'm like Zelda 2 is just as obtuse as Zelda 1 actually. But
I guess with Zelda 1 though, like you could I would say the later dungeons are very obtuse in that
Yes.
game. Like that last dungeon, if you're not using a guide, it's basically meant to trick you into not being able to do it. You get to
Hmm.
bomb hidden walls all over the place. It's stupid.
And all
But
the dark nuts, that's brutal. Absolutely
yep,
brutal. But man,
yep,
what a game. Pretty much the first open world game, if you think about it. So shout out to
yep,
Zelda 1.
yep.
Also, August 22nd, 2001, Nintendo announces it is delaying the launch of the GameCube in the US from 11/5 to 11/18 to increase the quantity of systems at launch from 500,000 to 700,000. It
Wow.
increased the quantity, but Santa Claus still didn't deliver. Um, Little
They delayed
ongoing
it
joke.
2 weeks. 2 weeks to get just why not just release 200,000 more 2 weeks later?
Listen, people wanted their GameCube. All right,
Well, the GameCube sold like
Santa's
shit,
elves were
so
working
people didn't
hard.
They
want it
didn't get
that
it any
much.
faster. They got it. It's not like I mean,
Yeah, odd choice.
Yeah. August 23rd, 1999 is when Sony dropped the price of the PlayStation in the USA from 129 to 99. Nowadays, that is pretty cheap for a console. Considering we got like this PS5 for $500, and now we got rumors of this PS5 Pro that's going to cost $600, and then it's all
Mm.
digital. So if you want a disc drive, that's an extra $80. You spend almost $700, almost $700 plus after tax if you want a disc
like five
drive
years ago.
PlayStation 5.
Like 5 years ago,
Crazy.
you could get those 2DSs with Mario Kart for like $80.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I bought a couple of DSs that way. Once they started clearancing them out, I just bought a couple because I was like, well, if they ever go bad, I want to have backups because I love the
Yep.
system too much to not ever be able to play it again. So,
I hope they do it with Switch Lights in a few years. 'Cause I don't. I have one Switch Lite. It's one of the Pokemon ones. I don't want to touch it because I don't
mhm.
like. It's like one of the special. So I
Yeah.
want them to just like put those regular boring 2DSs on sale for like $100.
I've
I'd probably
seen
buy one.
the Animal Crossing Switch lights for like dirt cheap, like close to like
Hmm.
150 recently. So I was like, now
Okay.
I was gonna say that's to the point where it's like it might not be a bad to buy one or two to have just that backstock because
Yeah.
Nintendo limited edition consoles always end up going back up in price even when they're easy to find. Like I remember the Fire Emblem Fates 3DS XL where it was like the top half was white and the bottom half was black. Super common for super long, and now that is a multi-$100 console. Same
Yeah.
with the
They got like
2DS
seven, eight
XL.
hundred or something like that.
Yeah, same with
It's
like the
up there.
2DS XL of the Hylian Shield. You found that thing everywhere, and now that's a multi-$100 console like without the box. So it's like if
Yeah.
it's a Nintendo limited edition console, eventually it's going to be worth something. So
Yeah.
to all you speculators out there, maybe grab yourself a Switch Lite or two with the Animal Crossing decal. It's probably worth it.
Kind of hoping Nintendo doesn't announce a special edition for Pokemon Legends ZA because I already have a Sword and Shield Switch Lite and a Diamond and Pearl Switch Lite and a Pokemon OLED. And
Every
of
single
course,
Pokemon game has gotten a special edition on the Switch. I'm
So it's
pretty
gonna
sure.
happen. Oh, except for Arceus.
Except for
Arceus
yeah,
did
Arceus.
not get
Arceus
one,
didn't,
so
and that was a Legends
Okay.
game. So, bam.
Whatever. They're gonna do it.
Gotta-
Let's Go
gotta
did.
hope it.
Diamond and Pearl did. Sword and Shield did. Scarlet Violet did. They're gonna do it.
Pokemon Mystery Dungeon DX didn't. Okay, let's
Yeah.
stop.
You know what?
Anyway.
Well.
So let's see where are we at. August 24th, 2000, Nintendo unveils the Game Boy Advance as well as the Nintendo GameCube in Japan.
hell
Pretty
yeah.
neat, showing them both off on the same day. Pretty
I
neat.
know it was cool back then when the console had a lot of parity like that. Like the only thing I could really think from the 3DS and Wii U that did was how you could use 3DS as a controller for Smash Bros,
Yeah.
which is super weird. I used to have a friend that was how he played, was he always used his 3DS as a controller, and I thought that was the most baller thing. And he always whooped everybody's ass too. It was so funny.
If you
That's
if you ask Bird Dog, our friend, no, this is Brendan. He played Bird Dog in Smash 4 using the 2DS. That's how he played,
Hell yeah.
which is, I think, the most degenerate thing I've heard in my life. But
I
Legend.
love it.
Legend. So, August 25th, 2003, Nintendo releases F-Zero GX for the GameCube. One of my top 5 GameCube games. If you haven't watched our last episode, go watch
Yeah.
it. Great episode. 2003 as well, Nintendo releases Pokemon Pinball Ruby and Sapphire for the GBA. One of the best Pokemon spin-off games, may I add.
Yeah, I've heard.
And 2009, Nintendo releases the Metroid Prime trilogy for the Wii.
Hmm.
Still don't know where those Metroid Prime 2 and 3 remastered are. One day.
sitting on the shelf.
August 26th, 26, 2000, Square Enix releases Dragon Quest VII for the PlayStation in Japan, but I thought that was a pretty good one to mention this episode,
Yeah,
talking about
definitely.
RPGs. 2002, Nintendo releases Super Mario Sunshine for the GameCube. And also in 2003, Namco released Soul Calibur 2 for the Xbox, the PlayStation 2, and the GameCube,
Hell
which
yeah.
I always thought Soul Calibur 2 was great because of all the different guest characters on each console. Obviously, GameCube with Link was the best choice, but
No, Spawn on the Xbox is where it's at.
Hey, Spawn's cool too.
Is he Heihachi or
also,
Link
but
cool?
Link, dude, like,
I love Soul Calibur 2. That's one of my favorite fighting games as well. That's one I'll randomly go back to once in a while. It holds up so well.
dude, I just love the Soul Calibur games in general. Like,
Yeah. That's
I have
another
a good time
series
with
that's
those.
pretty dead at this point too, unfortunately.
I think
Yeah.
Soul Calibur 2 is like one of the highest rated games on Metacritic. It's got like a 98 or something crazy like that. If you go
That
to the
and
all-time
I think the
highest
first
rated.
one's super high rated as well. So
Maybe it's Soul Calibur 1. One of the Soul Calibur games is like top
Yeah.
3, top 5 all time.
yeah, they're both excellent. Soul Calibur 1 on the Dreamcast, it's insane that is like a Dreamcast game, how good it looks. It's absolutely incredible.
So August 27th, 1997, pretty big day because without this, we would not be having our episode 12 game. Sony releases the dual analog controller for the PlayStation in the US. That is a must-have for Ape Escape. It makes the game great. Oh, I'll talk more next episode, but so good. August 28th, 2000, Nintendo releases Mario Tennis for the N64. First appearance of Waluigi.
Wow.
August 29th, 2006, Namco Bandai releases Xenosaga 3 for the PS2. It's another series I want to go and try sometime.
Yeah, me too.
Uh,
I'm always curious about the deeper connection to like Xenogears and Xenoblade and stuff that all those games have. So I know I've talked to you guys about really wanting to binge the Xenoblade games, but part of me is like, should I be even crazier and do Gears, then Saga, then Blade?
Hey, if you're
I
gonna
feel
do
like
it, might as
I feel
well.
like it would have like a payoff at some point. Like there's all this DLC and different things, in 3 that is apparently a culmination of all this kind of stuff that I've heard about. So it makes me really want to just like feel rewarded when I get to the end.
Yeah. Okay. August 30th, 1995, Nintendo releases Killer Instinct for the SNES.
Also, an
Uh,
awesome game.
2004, August 30th, Acclaim Entertainment files for Chapter 7 bankruptcy with a debt of over $100 million.
Good lord.
Also in 2004 on the same day, Nintendo releases Pikmin 2 for the GameCube. And then in 2005, Nintendo released Mario Superstar Baseball for the GameCube.
Let's
Hell
A lot of
yeah.
good GameCube releases in these past 2 weeks.
Man, I really gotta play more Pikmin. I'm almost done with Pikmin 1. I haven't picked it up in a while because it's a very short game, and you're on a time limit, so you have to beat it kind of in a short amount of time too. But I really enjoyed it. I'm not very smart, and neither are the Pikmin, so I keep killing a lot of them. It's not easy to just get like a big army of Pikmin, so I kind of got anxious and just stopped playing. But I want to get back to it. So
Yeah, I got 1 and 2. It's on the top of my when I have time Switch games to play.
I was gonna say of Switch games, right? Not just all games you have, because there's another
On top-
game that should be
No, so I
coming
have a-
first.
I
He's
have
waiting
my
for Reload to come out on the Switch. That's why he's
exactly.
waiting.
My God.
I have my stack of games that are like actually trying to get played, and then I have my ones in the closet. Pikmin's on top of the ones in the closet. Those are like when time allows. One day will never come, but
Next time Persona 3 is on the top of the list, he's gonna go, and put it back in the closet.
He's gonna go to start it like next week on Thursday and be like, you know what? I'm gonna play it. Oh, Astrobot tomorrow.
what if I played?
Never mind.
Can I play just the DLC? Is there some way to like just skip to the DLC?
You don't want to do that. Also, if you haven't seen any of the trailers for the DLC, don't watch them, by the way, because it'll literally spoil the base game. So
Okay, cool.
avoid everything if you don't already know that. Atlas
I'll
has
keep
not
that in
done a
mind.
good job of hiding like the ending of Persona 3 leading into the answer, which is really shitty. So I feel bad for people that don't already know, because it just totally ruins it. And Persona 3 has like one of the best endings in any game ever. Probably my favorite game in any game ever. So,
Hey. And then we got a lot of stuff that happened on September 1st. 1982. Atari completes one of the greatest games ever known as E.T. for the Atari
Dude,
2600.
there's no way. It's been every episode. How is this possible?
there's
Get
always
E.T.
there's
It's
always
like,
ET.
where they get the rights.
If you look close enough, there's always ET news every week in the history of existence.
I think it's a
gotta bring
meme.
it up.
I think you're lying at this point. You're just making it up.
It's on the website.
I'm not gonna
I was
fact
like-
check him. I don't know if you are. I just gonna take
What
his
was
word
it?
for it.
Wasn't it like the one is when they did the landfill, the one is when they got like approved for it, and then there's this one when they completed it. The next one's probably gonna be they released it.
And then one day you're like,
Just
I have an
completed.
autographed copy of it. You're like, what the hell's going on here?
I
Like,
know. Oh, I gotta find a way to just keep bringing ET up in the podcast. I
Exactly.
gotta wear an ET shirt next.
On this day, the Angry Video Game Nerd did an episode on ET for the Atari 2600.
Oh,
That's
yeah, that
newsworthy.
might be an ongoing gig.
Gotta
So
be awesome.
moving on,
So funny.
1992. Oh, we get like the ET logo and then put generations behind underneath it. Get those shirts made. So down. So I
That'd
could
be
like
fun.
Photoshop it. Like I'm either me and Zach are in the basket. You're driving the bike since you're kind of like the leader of the podcast. You
I
know,
want to be in the basket
Oh.
for sure. I want to be in the basket.
me and Zach are just in the basket. And Craig's
That'd be awesome.
anybody's good at Photoshop. I want to see that.
Oh, that'd be so funny.
Oh, first ever fan art. So, 1992, Nintendo releases Super Mario Kart for the Super Nintendo. 1994, Nintendo releases Illusion of Gaia for the Super Nintendo.
That game is so
Nin-
good. I love Illusion of Gaia.
1996, Nintendo releases Donkey Kong Land 2 for the Game Boy Color. Nintendo, where's our new Donkey Kong games? I'm tired of getting remakes. 2000, Ubisoft releases Rayman 2, The Great Escape for the PlayStation. Shout out to Christian.
Hmm.
And we're going to close this off, and I feel like we close this off with something from this every time, too. Nokia announces it has shipped 1 million N-Gage video game systems. Yet
Woo.
I don't own one of those because I just have the games and I don't play my games and I'm a shelf collector. Okay.
I'm glad you said
That's
it.
our history.
I learned a lot. Recently, a game store near me got traded in a Nokia N-Gage watch and hat. So, shout out to that.
Dude, you sent me that and I was just like, baller, legend. He gets. I'm not going to say it's inappropriate for this podcast.
Oh my god. Well, thank you for teaching us so much.
Well,
I
It's
feel
always
like I-
great when you can learn about E ET.
Exactly. Anytime I learn something about the ET Atari game against my will, I lose a day off of my life, and I wouldn't have it any other way.
Next time I'm with Craig, I'm forcing him to watch the movie. Just saying.
Yeah, I've
that.
still never seen it, so. And I don't really want to. He's
Well.
gross, so I'm gonna avoid it as long as I
What do you
can.
mean?
ET is gross. Alright, so, topic of the show. We're here.
2 hours in.
Yes, 4 hours in, we're finally talking about our JRPG history. Obviously, we are all huge fans of the genre. We've all played many of them. We all have a lot that we still want to play, a lot that we're looking forward to. But just overall, big fans of everything JRPGs. This is, kind of an unplanned, more freeform conversation. I figured maybe I would go ahead and start just by sharing my first JRPG, which is an action JRPG for the PS2. A lot of people our age, this was probably their first JRPG, and that is Kingdom Hearts. So, I remember seeing the commercial for Kingdom Hearts as a kid, and it blew my mind seeing fucking Donald and Goofy casting spells, and I was like, is that fucking Maleficent? Let's go. I love Maleficent, my favorite Disney character, the Maleficent Dragon. Coolest dragon design, like, in all of fiction. I love the Maleficent Dragon. I remember going over to my neighbor's house, and he had the game before I did, and I just thought it was the coolest thing ever. I remember begging my parents for it, and they got it for me. I was so excited, and the game just totally whipped my ass because I was too young to understand, what being underleveled was. So I wasn't grinding. I was fighting enemies, and I was like, I don't want to fight. I just want to see what happens next. So I'd run away from everything, and then every time I would get to a boss, it was like running into a brick wall and just getting my ass beat over and over and over again. It was absolutely brutal. Eventually, after a while, I kind of figured out what to do. But I remember specifically in the Tarzan world when you fight Clayton in the weird chameleon thing, that being like a total roadblock. And just like a huge kind of like difficulty spike to be like, you need to start trying and understanding the game's mechanics if you want to get any further. And yeah, that was my first JRPG, and I'll always have a very big soft spot for it. So, and to this day, I'm for better or for worse, I'm a very big Kingdom Hearts fan.
So, as you mentioned about being underleveled, I kind of have a story similar to that. So I didn't play Kingdom Hearts until probably it was like kind of right before Kingdom Hearts 3 was coming out because I was like, this game looks pretty cool, So I kind of wanted to get into the series. I was gonna try to play them all through before Kingdom Hearts 3. That didn't happen. I played the first one. I watched all the cutscenes for the rest, and then played 3. Mind you, that's a lot of cutscenes.
That's like 100 hours of cutscenes.
It's
a lot of darkness and
if I don't do
friendship.
this, dude, it was tough, but I did it. But anyway, so going back to playing Kingdom Hearts 1. So our buddy Matt, who watches this, he was the one that kind of got me to play it because he kind of played him growing up. So I was like, all right, I'll check it out. So I'm playing through Kingdom Hearts 1, and then I get to the part where you're facing like the shadow version of Sora or something like that, if I remember correctly. And I was just getting my ass whooped. Like, I was just dying and dying and dying. I was doing, like, no damage, and I had no clue what I was doing wrong. So then I do the share play on PlayStation, and Matt comes in, and then he's like, dude, why? Like, you shouldn't be dying this quickly, or you should be doing more damage. So he goes into my item bag, and, like, all the stat boosting items that you get along, I didn't use a single one, because I didn't know that's what they were. And then, dude, we did that, flew through it, and I was like, wow, okay. So that's my little underleveling story. But I really enjoyed that game. That was a lot of fun.
Yeah, Kingdom Hearts. One of my big gamer goals, I guess I could say, is that I really want to platinum Kingdom Hearts 1 because it's a fairly challenging platinum. But I have such an affinity for the game, and I really want to. I played it a little bit earlier this year, and you have to play it on the hardest difficulty, and you can't use continues and all these other things, so it's a tough time, but I really want to try it. And I don't know, I just have so many like core memories of playing that game when I was younger. Like, I remember being stuck on the Riku boss battle, and my neighbor kind of like giving me tips on how to beat him and showing me what keyblades to use to try to make the fight a little bit easier and different stuff like that. And it's like, I remember just like how like weird and in awe I was when I got to Hollow Bastion and how different it was from the rest of the game. Like, everything's, all whimsical Disney, and then you're in like this like worn down kind of like eerie castle, and the music is very cool and haunting, and all the enemies are just way tougher than the rest of the game. There's just so much to it. And then of course you get to the Maleficent boss fight, and like I said, Maleficent Dragon is my shit. So as a little kid, I was like freaking out fighting that thing, just thinking it was the coolest thing ever. I remember very distinctly being super stuck on the final boss against Ansem and dying over and over again. And I had to go to school the next day, and my dad was like, you gotta go to bed. And I was like, please, let me try one more time, Dad. I think I could do it. And he was like, all right, this is your last shot. And then I remember that was the try that I beat him, and I was so happy.
Let's go.
And my dad was like, all right, you deserve to stay up late tonight. You did it, son. And I remember just being so proud of myself, and my dad was, he was proud of me too. My dad is a lifelong gamer, so it's like he gets it. He understands when you're right there, you just want to finish it, get it done. You work so hard to get that far in the game and everything else. So, shout out to my father and his support in that moment, because it meant a lot to little Craig. So,
speaking of the final boss being hard, I remember Hector was doing the same thing, playing along the first game, until we got to the third game. So he got to the final boss, and he kind of like pulled a Zack. He like didn't beat it.
Pulling a Zack, huh?
That's what it's gonna be now.
One time.
But don't worry, that's not directed toward. Well, it kind of is. But however, you went back and finished it though, right?
I did.
Okay, I hope you're not lying.
No, after the
Hector,
episode.
Hector, he never did. He just dropped that game and went right to 3. It
That's
was
funny.
That's degenerate behavior.
That is degenerate. Like, this is too hard. I don't care.
yeah.
How funny. Yeah, Kingdom Hearts, I absolutely love it. I definitely want to try to platinum. I might try to do that this year, if I could find the time, during one of these long weekends or breaks of some kind. But I feel like that was a lot of people's first JRPG too, which is interesting. And I guess just to kind of bring up the topic, we all agree that it doesn't have to be turn based to be a JRPG. If it was a role playing game of any kind made in Japan, it counts as a JRPG. So if you're out there and you disagree, I'm sorry that you're wrong. It's gonna be okay. We're just having fun here. Tyler's laughing because he has friends that disagree with what I said, but that's okay.
Anyway, can I go next? I want to go next.
Yeah, of course.
Okay, so my first going into the JRPG genre, it's actually pretty like older, but if you know me well enough, you could probably guess what it is. And that Pokemon Red, gotta throw it out there to the Pokemon games. Uh Friggin' fell in love with them ever since Red. I actually played through them like starting with Gen 1, 2, 3, 4. Like I didn't start like midway
Oh,
through.
nice.
Mm-hmm.
Growing up, didn't have all the newer stuff, so I just had like a what I have. I had a Game Boy SP, so I had that. But then I had the Pokemon Red played on there. So, I had a Game Boy Advance, not an SP first. I had a Game Boy Advance, but played through Pokemon Red, played through hours and hours of all the Pokemon games, maxing out the timers. Just going through Pallet Town for the first time. I actually started I got into Pokemon through watching the show, and then I eventually played the game because I liked the show.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, the music, great in this game. I just loved all the creatures. Gen 3 creatures, Pokemon are the best, by the way. If you think otherwise, you're wrong.
Did you get a Gengar in Pokemon Red? When did you get your first Gengar?
I didn't. My first
Mm.
Gengar was, I think, when I played Gen 3.
Mm.
Because Gen 3 is when it was more like, you'd bring your game to school, you play at the cafeteria or something like that,
Yep.
and
Under
that's
the
when
table so the
crazy.
teacher doesn't take it away.
Exactly. So my love for Gengar didn't start right away because I didn't have him in here, but eventually
Big
grew on me.
haunter guy back then.
Yeah, it's like, why won't this man evolve? I remember playing this as a kid, midway through the game, you'd always find Pokemon that are like level 22. Like that was just the number. But then as a kid, I would catch them, then the next level they'd evolve, and I was like, this is the greatest thing ever. So I'd be like, oh, I'm gonna catch this Diglett. Whoa, Dugtrio. Oh, I'm gonna catch this Meowth. Whoa, Persian. Just stuff like that. But just playing through it, it's one that I want to go back to and fully 100% in the game because I mean I never did that before, and I feel
That'd
like
be
it would be
cool.
really cool. And if you don't know, if you get a Game Boy printer and some of the paper and you complete it, you could print out a little certificate of you completing the decks.
Really?
Which
That's
I
cool.
wanna-
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
If they ever come to NSO, we'd each play red, blue, and yellow, one of us each, and
That'd
then
be really
help
fun.
finish the Pokedex.
That'd be
I'd
so
be down.
fun. I would love that.
If Nintendo would ever do that. They're just waiting to hit the button. One day they're
Yeah.
gonna hit the button.
Break
Yeah.
glass in case of not record-breaking profit.
Yeah. So I guess semi-disclaimer. I had Pokemon Red as a kid, and I know that because I still have that copy. Zero memory
wish I
whatsoever of playing it, though. So it's like, it could have been my first JRPG, but I literally don't remember playing it at all. It's like I just found a copy of Red and a copy of Blue when I was a little bit older, in one of our closets, and it's like, my mom was like, yeah, that was yours, and the Blue was your sister's, and I was like, okay. I believe her. And it's cool that I still have those copies, but I really don't remember ever playing it, which is super bizarre.
Real quick, when you went to the dojo, if you remember, Craig, you might remember, Zach. Did you pick Hitmonchan or Hitmonlee?
I don't remember. I don't remember.
I'm a Chan man myself.
Okay, that's who I picked.
I named
There you
my Chan Rocky, Rocky Balboa.
That's awesome. I have much Pokemon memories to share as well. But Zach, why don't you go ahead and tell us about your first JRPG first?
It's just the same as Tyler. It's just Pokemon. I'll share a fun story. I can't remember if I played because I have Gold, but I played Silver first. I don't remember whose it was. I don't think it was mine because the first one that was mine was Sapphire.
Oh, okay.
So I think I played Gen 2, but then I really played Gen 3 when it was mine. My favorite story telling about my Sapphire save was I picked Torchic and I leveled it up to Combuskin. I was playing through the game like normal, but I didn't. Somehow I missed the dialogue to like go to Dewford, like take the boat to Dewford. So I was just running around like the beginning area. I thought that was the game. I just ran around the beginning of the area for tens of hours, leveling up this Combuskin to like level 30 against like level 3 Zigzagoons and stuff.
That's awesome.
I was still
was
loving
there
it.
for hours.
I was. And then one day, I just went and talked to this guy, and he brought me to Dewford. It like changed my life. But
Like,
I
there's
remember
more?
this is when it gets bad. In the cave in Dewford, I caught a Makuhita, and I liked Makuhita. And then I learned the hard way, and I was playing around the Pokemon like center Pokemon box on Dewford Island, and I released my Combuskin. I didn't know what release meant. So I grinded up this Combuskin for like dozens of hours, and it was like almost a Blaziken. I didn't get Blaziken. I released it, and I just like, oh, whatever, that's weird. I don't know what that means. And I just saved the game. So now here I am on Dewford Island with like a level 11 Makuhita, and that's it.
In my head, I'm just envisioning the like Sonic Adventure when you release your Chow and it's like all sad. It has him like
Yeah, it
going
has
off
the
to the
sack
sunset.
over his
It's just, it's just you combusting with the sack. Like, all right, man, we've been
So
through 100 hours together.
See you later.
Oh,
Abandoning me on an island.
You're like, oh, I released him. I bet I could go find him in the grass over there.
No, he's gone.
I'm on an
forever.
island surrounded by water.
Well,
I'm
yeah.
a fire type. I'm a fire.
So that poor dumb chicken got lost, and then I didn't think to like start the game over. I just played
So
the whole
funny.
game with my new starter Makuhita, and when I finally beat the
New
Elite
starter.
Four. I beat the Elite Four with a level like 87 Hariyama and a Kyogre.
God.
Just Hariyama the whole game. No, it was just Hariyama, then like HM Pokemon, then Kyogre.
It's like the most
like-
cursed Gen 3 playthrough ever.
Yeah. I think I beat the game it was like 50 or 60 hours or something like that, like absurd amount of time to
Dude,
beat the game
awesome.
because I didn't know what I was doing.
In Gen 3 as a
but-
kid, what stressed me out the most was getting Rayquaza. Or Rayquaza, if you
I
want
don't
to
even
say
know
it.
I don't even know if I found him in,
Well,
in
you know-
Sapphire.
You know how you get it, right? But through that Sky
Yeah.
Tower,
Yeah,
you
yeah,
get the bike and do like all the perfect movements. Oh,
yeah. No shot I was doing that as a kid. But-
Speaking of cursed Pokemon playthroughs, I need to shout out my best friend of many years, Emily. We used to always laugh really hard because one time she pulled out her copy of Pokemon Emerald. The game was finished. She had a full team, but her main Pokemon on this team was a level 92 Trico that she never evolved.
Let's go.
oh shout out to Trico, best
You
starter.
know,
in Gen
we were
3.
like, why didn't you ever evolve her? And she was like, the evolutions are ugly, so I just kept it as Trico. And I was like, that's valid.
Trico.
So I always think of the level 92 Trico whenever I see Trico because she turned on her game.
Level
We just were like, what the?
92,
We're like,
dude.
what the fuck are you doing? You never evolved your Trico. She's like, why would I evolve them?
That'd be even worse if she released that one.
So
That's
funny.
tons of hours for a level 92 Trico.
It's absolutely ludicrous.
It reminds me of like some of those videos like back in the day on YouTube where it's like, oh, don't press the B button. And it would just mutate into something crazy if you ever seen that.
Yeah.
uh
Pokemon, I got into very late. I think I've mentioned on the show before. The first Pokemon game I played very deeply was Pokemon Diamond, and that's why I have such an affinity for Gen 4. I played the absolute shit out of those games. I maxed out the clock, and then I kind of went backwards because I really wanted to try to complete the Pokedex. So I remember asking my parents for a copy of Pokemon Fire Red, and I played through all that, and then transferred all my Pokemon over to Diamond, and then I asked for
Dude,
a
those
copy of...
tasks were so tedious to transfer
they were.
Pokemon.
But,
Like, you do that little catching gate.
Yep. But I really wanted to do
Man.
it, and then I did the same thing. I asked for for not Alpha Sapphire, but for Sapphire next, just because I thought that was the prettiest looking box.
I
I
always
know
thought it was
Emerald would have
cool.
been the better choice, but yeah, I think it just looks it's really clean, that shiny blue on the Sapphire box. And I did the same thing with Sapphire. Played through not all of it, but a decent amount, and started like bringing over starters and restarting it so I could get the starters into Gen 4 and stuff. So Pokemon Diamond is definitely my most played Pokemon game. Um, and I still have a
Diamond
lot
Pearl
of the
were the first
series
ones I
to
got on
explore.
launch.
So I really need to play Gen 5 still. And then I need to play the Gen 2 remakes now that I've played Gen 2 and really enjoyed it. But I also always think about getting into the world of ROM hacks, even though I know that's a very, very deep
You
rabbit hole to go
play,
down. So,
I think it's called Pokemon Fulligan, if I'm right. I could be wrong, but
full
it
again.
actually puts you in the perspective of Team Rocket,
Oh, that's
which
cool.
is pretty neat. Yeah, that one's a pretty cool one. I have a
Yeah,
couple. I
people
have
get
like
to
that one. I have uh wow, I'm drawing a blank. But I know another one I played is Snakewood. That's like a whole zombified apocalypse kind of one.
how funny.
I'm
But
imagining the
yeah.
Team Rocket game. Your starter choices like Rattata, Ekans, and Coughing. Well,
That's
no, it'd be
it.
like it'd be Grimer, Ekans, and Coughing. Yeah.
Coffee!
Hell yeah. Dude, I
Coffee!
love Grimer and Muck. I would not be upset about that. Shout out to my boys, Grimer and Muck.
But real quick, I just want to put out the fact that when you were talking about the DS Pokemon games and
Hmm.
getting the old Game Boy games, I really loved how, like, for some of the DS games, depending on what, if you had the original DS or DS Lite, depending on what Game Boy Advance games you had in the cartridge slot, you'd be able to find a specific Pokemon in, like, Diamond Pearl. I think Diamond Pearl had it, and then the other ones. But that was kind of neat. Like, if you had Fire Red in, you could find a Growlithe on this route or something like
Yeah,
that. Those
which
are
is
always
really
cool.
cool. Yeah, they had a lot of really interesting hardware. Pokemon Company's always been really good about that. Have like just really utilizing the hardware that their games are on, much more than many other developers do. So, are you just admiring that box of yours
Oh,
there?
yeah, I loved it.
It is very
Yeah, you
beautiful.
reminded me. I need to get a because I don't have my copy of Pokemon Sapphire. I lost it at some point in my life. I need to get a complete in box Pokemon Sapphire. Um,
That one's not too bad. It's
I've got
Yeah,
a
like the
complete in
Game
box
Boy.
Emerald,
yeah.
but I
Emerald
don't
is
have a.
the one that's
Oh, you have an
crazy.
Emerald?
So,
That's like
Yeah,
$700. Good job.
yeah, I have a complete in box. It's funny. Of all my Game Boy Advance games, I have dozens of them. I have Emerald complete in box in good condition, and then a bad condition Red Rescue Team. I don't know why those two games made it, but
but
I'm
they
happy
made it,
Emerald made it.
Dude, the
of
Mystery
course.
Dungeon games, top tier too. Just
Hmm.
saying.
Yeah.
Especially the original ones.
Yeah. So my dive into more turn-based RPGs, not including Pokemon, um, funnily enough, is related to the Completionist, a YouTuber that we don't really talk about anymore because he did some uncool stuff. But because of him, I was introduced into Earthbound. When I started getting more into like the YouTube gaming sphere, I remember I went on the Normal Boots website and it was like the day that he posted his review of Earthbound, and I was just like, this game looks so weird and so interesting. I was like, I gotta play it. So that's when I downloaded my first Super Nintendo emulator and I downloaded my first ROM so I could play Earthbound, and that is how I started to get more into retro and turn-based JRPGs. Obviously, huge Mother fan. I didn't finish that Earthbound on that emulator. I ended up starting it over when I got a Wii U because I wanted to buy an official version of the game. So I got it digitally on Wii U. I got up to Threed, and then I was on a trip to Arizona, and I went to a retro game store, and they had a physical copy of Earthbound, the Super Nintendo, for $180. I think is what it was at the time. I don't even know what Earthbound goes for now. I think it's like closer to 300 or maybe even more. And I was like, this is really cool. I'm gonna buy this because it's supposedly super rare and it's a cool video game. So I bought it, and I bought a Super Nintendo that same day. And then when I got back
Baller.
to where I live in Las Vegas, I started playing Earthbound that way, and then I finished the original game on original hardware on an original cartridge, which I thought was
Nice.
super neat. So I absolutely love the Mother series, and Earthbound is really the progenitor of me discovering my favorite genre of video games. So I will always adore Earthbound, even if it's not my favorite entry in the series.
Earthbound is definitely one I want to get to someday. Now that's on NSO too, right? I believe.
Yes, it is.
Like, it's one I could easily access and play through.
Mm-hmm.
I've
Yeah,
played
it's definitely
Earthbound
on my list.
Beginnings and like half of Earthbound. I haven't finished Earthbound.
Mm-hmm. I know you're like the only person I've ever met that started with Earthbound Beginning, which is funny.
That's
Well,
how
I
I was
figured it was
thinking
like
about playing it. I
I
was
might
like,
as well start from the first one. I mean,
No,
it's
the
well
totally.
beginning.
there. So
Yeah, that's definitely the one that's toughest to get through. So has a lot of that NES jank and NES hardness and stuff.
it gets
So
really hard. I
oh
had to
my
use a
gosh,
guide for the end of it, but
yeah. The last dungeon is almost impossible without a guide. So
yep, it's very difficult.
yeah, and then obviously playing that led me to I had to play Mother 3 because it was a sequel to this game that at the time I was like, this is the best game I've ever played. And obviously Mother 3, my favorite game of all time. We still don't have it here. Breaks my heart. Not enough people ever be able to get to play it because a lot of people just don't like to play fan translations or ROMs or different things like that. But Mother 3 is the greatest game of all time in my opinion. So
I've got
shout
a
out to
Mother
Mother
3
3.
fan translation on my pocket, awaiting to finally get played one day.
Are you waiting till
It'll
after
have-
you finish Earthbound first?
I would like to go back and finish Earthbound. I'm in the desert. I'm assuming I'm like halfway through, but I would
Oh,
like to.
you got a while still.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I'd like to finish that. Then I'll get into Mother 3.
Mm-hmm.
But
Yeah, Mother 3 is you definitely have to finish Earthbound before you play Mother 3, I think. Like I think Mother 1 is the most skippable in terms of like
sure.
the rewarding parts of it if you are to play the whole series. Like playing Earthbound then Mother 3, you get a lot more out of it than if you played, Mother 1 before Mother 2. I think you aren't missing as much.
Gotcha.
Definitely got to get into that sometime.
Oh, of course.
One that I'm gonna lead into is so the East series. I know you guys said you don't have a lot of experience with the East series.
Mm-hmm.
So I ended up actually starting it with 9, which is the latest one. Well, 10's the latest one. It's out in Japan, not here. But I started with 9, and I really enjoyed that one. A lot of people started with 8, but me, I kind of jumped in at 9, and it's actually made me want to go back and play all the old ones, which I played 1 and I played 2 so far. Uh, they're just great. I love the story. I love how it's all like the same guy, and a lot of time it's like, oh, he like washed up on a beach or whatever, like Adol Christian, and like it all has the same kind of starting point, which I think they actually, I think like 2 of them are different or one of them. But it's kind of funny how they just do that every time. And dude, like, I would grab them, but they're kind of a little blocked away. I feel like you guys would really like them. They're action RPGs, action JRPGs. But I just really enjoy the story, the depth of the characters they go into with them. The soundtracks are great. I remember a little story when I first started the first one. I was playing it on the PSP, and so I didn't know. I would just talk to a few people in the village, then I'd go to adventure, and I just get wrecked. And I'm like, how do you get an item like a sword or anything? So you actually had to talk to every single person in that town. I think there was like 20 or so people. And then once you did that, then when you went back to your house and you talked to like an NPC there, then you got a sword. And then that's how I finally got through that game. Uh, I don't want to say too much, but I love
Yeah,
that series.
Say
East
whatever
one
you
of the
want.
series.
Oh,
Yeah,
true.
This is a podcast. You're supposed to talk, Tyler.
Well, it is, but you guys can't really like pitch in that much. So
No, of course
I
no.
want to
I
still.
want to know more about the series. I want you to sell me on it. Tell me what makes it so
The
great.
series
Tell me how
is
it has
great.
the same main character for 10 games, but every game is a starting point. I've always found that super bizarre.
Well, to be honest, I don't really know the answer.
Really? Okay.
But yeah, it's just like Adol Christian, he gets wiped up on somewhere, and then you just play it. But
Does he
I
have
mean,
like a memory loss, or is it like he knows everything that has happened?
sometimes he has like flashbacks per se, and he's like, oh, it feels like this happened before, or what's that called, like deja vu kind of thing.
Oh,
Deja
okay.
vu, yeah.
Mhm.
But I don't know. My most fondest are with 9, as I said. Playing through that game, getting the whole platinum experience. The original ones are like pretty short. Like you could beat the first one in like 10 hours, and
Oh,
then the
okay.
second one is pretty short as well. So they're like
Have those games been remade, or are you playing like TurboGrafx games?
they're on the PSP.
Oh, are they? Okay.
Not all of them. I know they're re-releasing Well, most of them are, but then like a lot of them are coming out of modern hardware, like the Oath of Elgana, which is the fourth in the series. That's coming to PS5, and then you got like the Memories of Celceta, which I think that was a spin-off one. There's a whole bunch of different ones.
Hmm.
Is Ys Origin not the first one like remade, or is it?
uh, East Origin is like from way before all this. Like it has different characters.
It's like a prequel thing.
Yeah, it's like a
Hmm.
prequel thing before the whole adult Christian thing and everything.
Okay.
That game was really cool.
Yeah,
I didn't
I
ever
haven't played
finish
Origin,
it
so I can't
because
say
you have
much
to
about
beat
it.
it 3 times to actually get like the actual ending. Like you have to play with each character, and I don't know. Sometimes you play through it with a character, and you're like, I think that was good enough.
Yeah, Origins I haven't played yet. You know,
Hmm.
you would think I'd probably want to start with that one, but I kind of just owned one and two on the PSP, so it's like, oh, let's play through one and two.
Hmm.
Uh, but yeah, like I said, I started with East Nine. I remember when I got into that one, I downloaded like the whole soundtrack onto my phone, and I was
Oh
like
yeah,
listening to that on the car rides like
yeah.
all the time. Like,
You
oh,
know a
here's this,
JRPG
battles.
soundtrack is banging when you could listen to it like regular music.
Dude, and it wasn't even one where I just installed like, the special tracks. I just installed the whole album and I was like, yep. So now even when I drive now, if I go through it, it'll be like, oh, Neon Falcon soundtrack East 9.
Hell
Uh
yeah.
but yeah, really looking forward to 10 because now with 10 it's like more of an open world per se kind of
Mm.
thing with the whole ship and everything. So I'm looking
Yeah, that
forward
would be cool.
to playing that one.
Good stuff.
Does the title just say YSX? Is it the title? Is it East 10
No,
YSX?
it's East 10. It is YSX, but then the
Yeah.
caption's Nordics. So
Mm.
Hmm. How
Cool.
about you, Zach?
One early, like one of the first turn-based games I played, other than Pokemon, of course, but like more of a traditional turn-based RPG. I remember one on Christmas Eve, my older sister, would always wake me up really late at night after my parents went to bed, and she would sneak me off to look into the stockings. And normally the stockings were just like, whatever small little toys or candy, whatever goes in stockings. But one year, randomly, in my stocking was a Game Boy Advance game, which was very unusual. And I got Mario and Luigi Superstar Saga in that stocking.
Ah.
And then I had to pretend the next morning like I didn't know that there was a new Mario game in my stocking. Um, but Mario and Luigi Superstar Saga is one of my favorite games ever. I love the goofy little story. The characters, all the little goofy little voices and their little hand things they do. Um, Great music. Fun to explore overworld, like lots of little like hidden items and collecting the beans is always fun. But the combat system in that game is so fun to me. I love how many different enemies there are and how many different like ways to dodge their attacks there are. There's dodging them, there's deflecting them, and it's not just like in Paper Mario, it's like a lot of just like press the block button,
Hmm.
and you just block them. But in like Mario and Luigi Superstar Saga, I feel like every attack has like a different animation, a different way to block it. Just feels a lot more unique in that way. And then like there's the Bros attacks, which are just really fun special attacks that are really satisfying to pull off. I've played through Superstar Saga probably 5 times by now.
Wow.
And I haven't played all the games. I've played Bowser's Inside Story. I also really enjoy that one. I never played the Partners in Time, I believe it's called, the second one.
Mm.
And I never played the Paper Mario. Is it Paper Jam?
Oh yeah, the
Never
crossover.
played Paper Jam. And I started but did not finish this game, Dream Team.
Mm.
And I would
My
like
God,
to
it's
oh,
play
World
this.
Edition.
edition, get
World
it out of
Edition.
here.
Yep, World Edition.
World Edition,
Yep.
baby.
I would like to play through this, go back and start this over and play through it before Brothership comes out because I'm very excited for Brothership later in the year.
Yeah, I was gonna ask you if you're looking forward to that. So, kind of a revival. We didn't think we would get more Mario and Luigi. So,
Yeah, that was a
Yeah,
real big surprise in that direct.
It's probably, if I had to like rank the games left this year, it's probably my most anticipated at this point.
Really?
Like
Wow.
I'm gonna enjoy Astrobot next week, of course, but like I'm
Yeah.
really looking forward to Mario and Luigi.
Mm-hmm. When does that come out in September as well, or is it October?
No, it is November.
Okay, you
It's
got a
their
little bit of
Get you
time.
some time.
big holiday seller this year is Mario and
Oh
Luigi
hell yeah!
Brothership.
It's gonna be everywhere Black Friday.
The enemy team in that in so it's like a lot of like outlets, like the little people you're helping, like little outlet looking people.
Yeah, yeah.
And the bad guys are the extension corps, which I think is funny. Like it's spelling core like Marine Corps, but the extension
Mhm.
corps.
That's funny.
I thought that was funny. So I'm looking
That is
forward
funny.
to Brothership. I hope it's more like Superstar Saga and just really focuses on the combat and like fun bros attacks. That after once the games got into the DS, they started really getting into like touch mechanics because they were all on consoles that had two screens. But Mario and Luigi was just the A and B button, and you had to really focus on those two things. And I hope
Yeah.
since the Switch isn't going to be, it has a touchscreen, but not in the same way a DS does. I hope it goes back to the roots and feels like that one. But
Yeah, they
we'll
were
see.
able to do a lot with a limited control scheme for sure. I've
Yep.
never finished. I have not finished Superstar Saga. I've gotten very far though, and it's just such a charming game. There's so much personality and it's insane.
Yep.
Really, really cool games.
Yeah.
Oozes charm.
Next
You
up,
can even sorry, real quick. You can level up
Yeah.
your basically your charm stat. It's your mustache stat.
yeah, that's
There's
the
like
only
one-
stat. I dumped
Yeah.
everything into mustache every level up. It's probably why I
it's so
struggled
funny.
a little bit later in the game, but I was
Yeah.
very lucky, so I only
Yeah.
dumped it into stash.
Yeah.
It's the only way to play that game. Probably the worst way to play for sure, but
Probably the worst way statistically, but the best way in my heart.
exactly.
Yeah.
Who doesn't want to level up their mustache? That's the greatest stat of all time.
Yeah, exactly.
So next up for me in my JRPG timeline is because I really did get into it much later in life, unfortunately, is in 2014. I had a friend who had been pestering me for 2 years because he got a Vita at launch because he was a believer before I was, and obviously now I'm a huge, massive Vita fan. Love the system to death. One of my favorite systems ever. He kept pestering me for a long, long time, and he was like, you just need to buy these games, and I promise you'll love it. And I'm like, all right, whatever. So I trusted him, and I bought my Vita refurbished from GameStop with 2 games. I got the first Hatsune Miku Project Diva, and I got Persona 4 Golden, which is the main reason that most people bought a Vita back in the day, because that was the only way that you could play what is considered pretty much, the modern day granddaddy of solid, well loved, well reviewed JRPGs, and by golly, was he right for me telling me to get a Vita and Persona 4 Golden, because it just became my life. I was working full time and going to school full time, and I remember just playing it every single night for at least a little bit, because it's like I was just so invested in the world and the characters, the music, everything. I was so in love with Persona right away. I think Persona 4 does such a good job getting you invested in this plot right off the bat. It's just so interesting. The characters are so charming. The writing is well done. Majority of the game is voice acted, so it's very easy for you to get immersed in the characters and the world. And I remember I would cycle through my saves once in a while, and it's kind of funny. Between that and being able to check trophies, it's like I played it over the course of about 6 months, and it was basically the only game that I played for those 6 months because I had limited time doing full-time work and school. And it's just like it's such a deep and memorable game for me. It's like it was pretty close to after I moved here. I didn't really know anybody yet, and it's like I don't care if it sounds sad. It's like those were my friends. It's like I would play Persona 4, and I'd hang out with Chie and Yosuke and Yukiko and all these people, and it's just like it was like hanging out with friends, having a good time, and it's like it was a game that was there for me in a very lonely part of my life when I was living somewhere new. I didn't really know a lot of people yet, and it'll always just have a really strong place in my heart as a game that was there for me in a tough transitional time but also just for being a really, really damn good game. I know neither of you guys are super invested in the Persona series. I know Tyler's played 5, but I don't think you've played the rest really yet. And obviously,
No.
Zach is avoiding it like the plague. But Persona has a very vocal and sometimes obnoxious fan base, but I think that it's almost justified because the series really is as good as everybody says. And Persona 4 was the gateway for a lot of people between, the long wait for Persona 5, the more dated mechanics of Persona 3. It's like 4 was that entry point for a lot of people. So I think it's just always going to be super high up on people's list of favorites. Very a game that is really close in the hearts of a lot of JRPG fans. It has all of its social link mechanics, which I'm pretty sure Persona started this whole kind of friendship level thing that affects other parts of the games and stuff that a lot of RPGs have started to kind of adapt over the years. I'm pretty sure Persona is what really started that. So Atlas really created a masterpiece with Persona 4, especially.
Yeah, Persona 4 I like dove into, but then I stopped playing it. Not because I wasn't enjoying it, but just other things came up, all that type of stuff. It's one I definitely want to go back to, but I'm kind of farther in Persona 3 Reload, to where I would rather want to finish that, and then I'm going to go back and do 4. Like in 4, I got through like the whole introduction and everything, and then the first dungeon is where I got to. But yeah, like you said, I started my whole Persona thing with Persona 5. And with people saying how Persona 5 is great, but then 3 and 4 are better, it makes me excited to see them all the way through just to see how those stories are.
Yeah,
Because
and
Atlas
it really
can tell
depends.
a story, dude.
Because
Like,
each game kind of has like a central theme, and I think it really kind of depends on what theme hits you, kind of in the heartstrings the most. And that is it. That is Persona 5 for a lot of people. But the close knit group of friends in Persona 4, it's just like the greatest cast of characters in like anything, and it's like their friendship feels so real, and it's like it really makes you care about them so much, and it just will always resonate with me so well. So, but yes, it's like 3, 4, and 5. It's like those are like 100% recommend to anybody. It's just hard because it's hard to recommend 100-hour game to your average person.
yeah.
But really,
Yeah.
Persona 5 is the longest. 3 and 4 are still long, but they're significantly shorter than 5 Royal. 5 Royal is like a 120-hour game minimum,
I dropped like
basically. So
110, I think.
exactly.
110,
So it's
112,
like
something like that.
5 Royal is
It didn't feel like
insanely
it.
long. No, yeah,
Didn't
it's
feel like it.
it's
fucking
the
stupid,
fastest 110 hours you'll ever have playing a
Like-
game. That's for
Like, I'm
sure.
just gonna say this now. Jason hates Persona 5. He thought it was the longest. Now I'm
Breaking
getting
my
Craig
heart.
on I'm getting Jason's bad sign for Craig. But
Banned from writing in. Doesn't matter what you have to say.
then we got Zach for remake and Craig for Persona 5. But
Making
anyway,
enemies out of us.
dude, just played through Persona 5. It was great. It felt like nothing. All the characters are great. Akechi, I really loved like his kind of story development. He was kind of one of my favorite
Yes,
characters.
Akechi's
Going
awesome.
through it. And then, man, big things happen at the end. But don't want to spoil it because, man, just that one part. You know what I'm talking about.
That one part with the thing and the character.
Yeah, that thing. When you catch up to
scene.
what the flashbacks are going back to.
No,
That's
yeah,
what
it's
I'm
all
saying.
excellent.
Yeah. But Persona 5, I remember playing through it. And you remember that one part where they're all like, oh, let's go get hot pot, right? Dude, I like fascinated with that moment so much that I told all my friends, I was like, dude, I found a hot pot place. It's like 30 minutes from us. Let's all go. All right. Now,
Was it amazing?
so I found out I was not a fan of tofu. But but however, everything else in that was great. And then I remember eventually I went to this Korean barbecue place with Patrick, and they had Korean barbecue and hot pot, and you're able to choose whatever you specifically wanted in it. That was a lot better. But besides the point, dude, just that, like you said, the characters, they're all like, you feel like you're friends with them. And it even adds that with the whole social stat and all that type of stuff. So it's a great series. This is making me want to go back to 3 Reload right now.
Yeah, what I
I
think,
might.
I think,
I might.
I think Atlas is probably when it comes to just like the quality and balancing of their games, I feel like they are unmatched when it comes to their JRPGs. Like I'm looking so forward to Metaphor. It's not even funny. Like that's probably a request a day off or two from work kind of game for me, because it's like I feel like they always nail it. Atlas just knows how to make something that they know how to make the perfect gameplay loop for their JRPGs, where it's like they're insanely long, but they fly by like that. It's like they have the perfect formula for their games, I think. So, and I think that's why they
Yeah.
have such a dedicated fan base.
I remember staying up late many nights when I had to work at 8 in the morning, and I'd be like, "Oh, it's 3 a.m. I gotta go to bed."
Exactly. Like you get so into it, you don't even know. I mean, I'm even thinking about playing 3 Reload again before I know the DLC comes out soon, so I wouldn't be able to finish a full playthrough again by then, but it's like I've been thinking about it so much, and it's like I've had
Greg,
every
you beat it
song
in a
from
week.
That's true. I was 73rd platinum in
You
the world,
platinumed
baby.
it in
Never
a week.
forget. But yeah, I got I've had like the vocal tracks from 3 on repeat on my Spotify like nonstop since
Oh,
that game
dude,
came
Burn My
out.
Dread. I love that song.
It's so good. There's so
I
many good
played all the
songs.
dancing
Hmm.
games before. Like I played, well, actually, I did it the opposite way. I played Persona 3 dancing and 4 dancing, and not 5. So I kind of got the soundtracks of 3
There
and
you go.
4.
Yeah.
Dude,
Hmm.
Burn My Dread is like perfect. That is in my playlist.
Yes. I'm gonna send. Actually, I'll send both of you guys my favorite song from Persona 3 after the show. But yeah,
Please
the
do.
Persona series in general, you know, the best of the best. Persona 4. It's like every day I ask myself if I like 3 or 4 more, and I still really can't decide. I think every episode I've said that, like, it was 3, and then another episode I'd be like, it's probably 4, but it's just, they're so good. And that's not to discredit 5. 5 is still phenomenal. It's just, I don't know.
That's
There's
the
something about.
normie pick.
Is it the. Yeah, I don't know if it's the normie
That's
pick.
why
I
I'm
feel like.
looking forward to playing 3 and 4 because everybody that I talk to that's a Persona fan, like none of them say 5 is their favorite. They all say 5's great,
Yeah,
but they're
most
all
people.
like,
I feel like
"Oh,
most
I
people
like
do
3
say
because of
4,
how dark the
actually.
story is. I like 4
Hmm.
because of how something the story like."
Hmm.
Mm.
I don't know. They're all worth it. So it's like, it's all worth it. Like I played through Persona 4 Golden for the first time since I beat it in 2014 earlier this year. And anticipation for Persona 3 because I was just like, will I still love it as much? Because sometimes I get afraid to replay my favorite games because I'm afraid that like, um,
Rock.
the way I remember them, yeah, exactly, won't be the way that I like the way I remember them. Like they won't be as good as I remember, and I don't want that image ruined. Like
Yeah.
I've said before, I've only ever played Mother 3, my favorite game of all time, the whole way through once because it's like I don't know. There's something about it. It's like I don't want my vision of it tainted because it means so much to me. But I did that for Persona 4, and I was like, no, it's just as fucking phenomenal as the first time. And I'm gonna have to play it a third time eventually because I want to get the platinum trophy because I lost my original save, so I couldn't do a new game plus for my second playthrough. And you have to get to the end of a second playthrough to get the platinum trophy. So
Oh,
I'll get
I
there
hate that.
eventually.
I
But
hate that.
exactly, it's a secret boss that's only available on the last day of a new game plus playthrough. So it's absolutely ridiculous. But
Is it like just a secret boss or is it like a whole new boss? Like as that I mean like the ending. Like it's a
no, it's
final
a
boss.
secret boss. Like it's
Just
like a
secret
bonus
boss?
boss. Yeah.
That's so weird.
Yes, it's very. But every Persona game has, without spoilers, like a secret boss that's usually, I think it's even in 3 Reload only on a new game plus, and it's always like towards the end of the game. So it's like, if you want to do this boss, it's like,
Did
you
5
have to
have
play
one?
through the game pretty much all the way through. What?
Did 5 have one?
Yeah. So you might not
Or
even know about it then.
I'm
It
drawing a blank.
was
I got the platinum. Was it
So
involved
you
in the
don't
platinum?
need to fight them to get the platinum in 5 Royal. In Vanilla 5, you have to do that boss fight.
Wait. I know who it is. I know who it is. I
Okay.
got you.
Don't spoil
I
it
got
for people that don't know.
Yeah, I'm
But
not gonna say it. I know
famously,
you're
the
not.
one from original Persona 3 is like considered like one of the hardest JRPG bosses of all time. Like it's more about like doing math than actually being good and getting lucky. And basically, your entire playthrough is built upon building personas up to that one boss fight, which is absolutely bonkers. So shout out to that.
So
Man.
obviously, I have not played Persona, but you did bring up
Obviously.
Meta. You did bring up Metaphor, and I watched some of the Metaphor previews this week,
Hmm.
and people were speaking very highly on it. So I made the
Yes.
decision that I will start Persona 3 this weekend. I'm
Let's
finally going to do it.
go.
I'm going to rip the Band-Aid off. I'm going to just start it because if I keep waiting, especially
I
until all the
really,
games come out,
I really thought he
all
was
these
gonna
games.
say. So I decided it must. Okay.
I'll wait for Metaphor, and that'll be
Yeah,
my
no,
first
I
Atlas
thought he was gonna say
RPG.
I'm gonna start Metaphor first.
So I thought about that, but I decided if I keep waiting for Persona 3 to start it, especially after all the games coming out in September, I'm just never going to start it. So
Mhm.
I'm going to pop it into PlayStation this weekend. I'm just going to go for it and see what happens.
I'm so happy to hear that because it's
Yep.
gonna be so worth it. It's like one of those things that I'm not afraid of overhyping for people because no one's ever disappointed in it.
If you're putting it in, it makes me want to, start back up my playthrough of it. I'm not
And you
that
know
far in,
what?
so we can
Then
kind of play
maybe
along
after
at the
Clock
same
Tower
time.
we could do a Persona 3 episode. Who knows? So
Hey, we would all have played the RPG, and we
that's
want to do an
true.
RPG game episode. So I mean,
Exactly. And then
then after that, we'll do Dreamcast for Patrick.
exactly. But if
When
we
would
were
that be?
trying to think, because I think the Clock
It'd be
Tower
like,
episode comes out like the day before Halloween. So then it
Okay,
would
so it'd
be
be,
3 weeks after that, so like towards the end of November.
no, it would be 6 weeks
Oh,
after that.
oh yeah, so that'd be like the end of the year basically.
Yeah, yeah,
so
Oh, that'd be a
October.
fun way to cap off the year. Maybe that's a good
yep.
idea actually. That could be fun. So maybe I don't want to commit yet because we'll need to talk about
December
it. This is a
9th.
big commitment for you guys. But if
December
we were to
9th.
do that, I think I will do Persona 3 Portable for the version I play, just because that's the only like kind of like major version of the game I haven't played yet besides Vanilla, which I don't really know if I want to play. So
Persona 3 Portable, it just adds like a girl's perspective of the story, or like how does
so
that work?
it's the same campaign overall, but you are a female main character, and all of your social links are different because of that. And a lot of dialogue throughout the game is different because of that, just between different character interactions and cutscenes and stuff. So it's kind of like recommended as like a secondary playthrough. Like you play the male version, or if you played the original game, then you get portable. It's like a kind of a fresh new way to experience the story just because there's a lot of different dialogue and different things.
So
But like in terms of like mechanics and different stuff like that, nothing in that way changes.
so in Portable, the male's perspective is still the same exact as the original Persona 3?
Yeah.
Okay. And then this girl's just a whole new character. It's not one that's in the story.
No, she's not in the original story at all. She's like in
Gotcha.
place of him. Hmm.
Interesting.
Yep. And for a long time, it was hard to recommend a version of Persona 3 to people because, Portable had the male and female protagonist, so it had two different campaigns technically, and you can choose your party members' attacks. In the PS2 versions of Persona 3, you cannot choose your party members' commands.
They just do what they want. That's awesome.
So you can kind of direct them, like you could be like, be forceful, heal, guard, stuff like that. But like you could not choose what moves they use. So you would definitely get some bad AI moments once in a while, unfortunately.
Interesting.
Yeah, I got screwed over a few times playing Persona 3 FES. So
Neat.
all right, what's
Nice.
next in your guys' journey of these
Yeah,
games?
Zach, I'll let you go. I don't think you
Um,
mentioned another game yet.
Yeah, so this is one like these are. I would still say they are a JRPG, but they're not like they're strategy RPGs. My favorite series, my favorite game of all time is Fire Emblem.
Mhm.
I think it's just still JRPGs, They're,
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
strategy RPGs, but I think I've mentioned it a couple times now. The first one I played was on the original North American version, which is just Fire Emblem. I think it's actually called the Blazing Sword, but I think it's just called Fire Emblem here.
Hmm.
So I played that game. Not rented it. I borrowed it from a friend, and then I got Fire Emblem Sacred Stones, which I've talked about before. It's one of my favorite games ever. I've played that game a dozen times. Then I got Path of Radiance, Radiant Dawn, one that y'all need to play. I've played the whole series basically up until one of the my favorite game ever is Fire Emblem Three Houses, and Craig, it kind of has a similar story to what you said. Three Houses came out right around when I moved out for the first time, and I was living on my own. And I remember I wanted to first of all, I wanted to get the special edition from GameStop, and they lied to me and they told me I could buy it. I could pre-order it from one. I went to my GameStop in my hometown and tried to pre-order it for the town I was going to, and they just lied to me. They did not have a copy for me, so I did not get the special edition. Anyway, besides the point, that was the first game I bought with like when I moved out on my own, and I played that game like a maniac because it was the first time I lived by myself ever. I was just in my small one-bedroom apartment by myself, and I played it so much the first weekend that the chair I had, my apartment was like chair and TV and like mattress on the floor. That was my apartment. I played it so long that first weekend that the structure of the chair broke. The wooden chair cratered because I sat on the beam for like I think 14 hours that Saturday in just one spot and played
beautiful.
it. I think the opening weekend I put like 40 hours into the game.
That's like 2 playthroughs.
Well, so I was playing real slow and playing through everything. I played. I think I've beaten 3 houses like 7 times. I have like over 400 hours in it or something crazy
Holy
like that.
shit.
I did one playthrough where I just grinded up my main character. There was a kind of an exploit. If you play online, there's these little like tiles that would glow like purple or yellow. And if you go on like the purple tile, it would give you like an item. If you go on a yellow tile, it would give you like experience. And it was supposed to be like, I think it was supposed to reflect like where people would maybe other people who were playing were connected online, like where they died at or something. I don't know what it was. It was just only when you're online, these 2 little colored tiles you could show up on. But anyway, besides the point, if you stand on the yellow tile, you get experience. And if you restarted the map, you kept the experience, but the yellow tile would come back.
Oh shit.
So I made an entire run where I grinded up my my Byleth to level 99, which is like not what you're supposed to do. That is not how the game works. Normally you beat the game. Your highest level characters are probably in the 40s, maybe. I spent probably 40 hours land on tile, restart, land on tile, restart. I was just watching podcasts doing
all over again.
Literally. I grinded up to level 99. And
then I released a Byleth.
Yeah, no. I wanted to see if I the most broken character possible, if I could what I could do, like how I could break the end game. And I used that level 99 Byleth to beat the last chapter of one of the games it was on easy difficulty, but I beat the last chapter in 1 turn. Just with this like broken character and like yeah. I've got a video of it. You can go back and watch it.
I need to see that. That's awesome.
But it's just I love that game so much. I played 3 houses so much, and it does mean a lot to me because I played it at a time when I was by myself, and it was my like companion, like when I was like home by myself all day. Yeah, I love all the Fire Emblem games. They are my favorite game series. Period. So I would say they're my favorite JRPG series, even if they're not a traditional JRPG.
Yeah.
But
yeah. Pretty soon after my Persona 4 journey was when I started my Fire Emblem journey with Awakening. So I remember I literally went to GameStop and I was looking at the 3DS games and I was like, oh, this looks cool. And I grabbed that and I grabbed Monster Hunter 4. Or was it 3 at the time? I don't remember, one of the two. And I did not like Monster Hunter much, so I did not play that at all. But once I started playing Awakening, it was like I blasted through the game in a week and I just absolutely loved it. Lucine is one of my favorite characters in all of video games.
Smash. Main in Smash.
She was my main in Smash 4. Was her, so I used to love playing her. And I just Awakening. I think about it all the time, going back and playing through it, because I've heard that the DLC for Awakening is amazing, and I've never touched any of that.
One of the final map they added for the Awakening DLC, I think it's called Apotheosis. It is the most it's the absurdly hard map. There's, if you like look up a guide on YouTube, there's videos of people like beating it on the highest difficulty, and I think it takes like it's been a while since I watched it, but it takes a long time to beat the map. I've never beat it myself. It's very difficult.
Well, I was gonna say, isn't the hardest difficulty on Awakening considered the hardest Fire Emblem game?
Mainly because
Maniac,
it's
right?
Complete,
is what it's called?
Complete bullshit. No, so I think it's Lunatic and then Lunatic Plus, and then it's either Lunatic or Lunatic Plus and then Lunatic Plus Plus. I think it's complete horseshit. And
like it's not balanced.
It's not tested at all. There are, when you start the game, just new save, start the game, highest difficulty. When you start the first map, so what it does is it assigns skills to the enemies that they can't normally have, and enemies always attack first, and they always have like basically end game skills to like do more damage to you. And there's certain
stupid.
like outcomes because it's a random run of these skills, and they have like a pool of skills they can get from. And there's versions of the map when you start the game where you just literally cannot win mathematically. You had to start the game over, like make a new save and try again because the run you got, the enemies just have skills you can't win with. And I've beaten the first couple chapters of that, like by watching a step-by-step guide on what you have to do to beat them. And it's just not fun to play like that because
that's
it's
fair.
just too hard. But
Awakening was also the only game that I tried speedrunning for a while, so that was a lot of fun.
yeah, speedrunning Fire Emblem's a cool thing there. But
It's pretty much just memorization and luck, so it's very interesting to do.
Yep.
Then,
Remember,
of course, I was gonna say we all gushed a lot about Path of Radiance last week, so I don't want to go deep into that, but we all adore that game. So
I have one more thing on Awakening, real quick. Tyler, I don't know if you were going to talk about Awakening, if you're going to go a different game.
no, go ahead. Say it.
Oh, I was just going to say, Awakening was like going to be like one of the last Fire Emblem games because the sales were kind of going down. So they kind of tied in that story, like looped it back to like Fire Emblem 1, which I thought was really cool. And then it just was like a smash hit, and they just kept making Fire Emblem games.
I know.
But I thought that was a cool like tie back to the original.
And it's funny because I feel like I heard a lot of people that were big Fire Emblem fans, feel like they felt like they were burnt out after that because they're like, all right, now we have a lot of Fire Emblem.
Yep.
Yeah. Dude, so I was gonna speak about Awakening. So how Zach said, sales are coming down. That's where me and Craig came in, and we're like, now we're reviving this series.
You bought
Hell
the dip.
But anyway, so I got into the Fire Emblem series through Awakening, as I said, because of a YouTuber I used to watch who unfortunately passed away now, but Etika. I don't know if y'all ever heard of him. So
Yes, I
I
love
used to
Etika.
watch his videos all the time, and he actually like made a video that had like me in it because I tweeted something at him. Like I have that saved in my archive because it's so cool. He's like, "Yo, Tyler, so shout out to you." Yeah, I'll never forget about that. But
I used to
anyway,
watch his streams all the time. That's awesome.
dude, yeah, it was like when somebody customly made a Mewtwo amiibo. I seen it and I was like, yeah, let me send it to him on Twitter. Then like 3 days later, I seen him make a video about it. I was like, but but anyway, so like he started like playing Awakening because I'm pretty sure that's how he got into the game. I was like, oh, you know what? I'm gonna go buy this game. So I go into GameStop and I'm like, yeah, can I get a Fire Emblem Awakening? And it's like, oh, that's a great game. It's a great choice. You ever played the series? I was talking to him for a bit, saying how it's my first one. So eventually got Awakening, as you all said. Great game. Characters are great. Lucina, best girl. But anyway, then that's how I continued my Fire Emblem journey. Played all the 3DS games, Conquest, Fates. Wait, no, Fates, Conquest. That's the same thing, right?
Fates is
Fates
the umbrella.
Birthright.
Yeah,
Birthright
yeah.
translation.
So Fates.
This game's
I'm
not
not forgetting
my
what
favorite.
Echoes, and there's one more on 3DS, ain't there? I'm drawing a blank.
No, that was all of them. There's 5.
That was all of them? Okay. But however, did that, then got 3 houses, all that. But then when I was talking to Craig one day, he was like, oh, you gotta play Path of Radiance. And that's eventually when I went back and played Path of Radiance. Loved that game, as Craig said. We gushed about that one in the last one. Do still need to play Radiant Dawn, and I do still gotta play the Game Boy Advance games. And I mean, of course, the ones that didn't come out here, I have some of the like ROM hack cartridges.
Oh,
But
yeah.
those are ones I
Have
really
they
go back
put
to.
the GBA games on NSO yet or no?
I think they are.
So 7 is Fire Emblem Blazing Sword is on NSO, and I think Binding Blade, the first Game Boy Advance, is on Japanese NSO.
Oh, okay.
I think, but
With
obviously
our
it's
boy,
Japanese only.
Roy.
Yeah, Roy's our boy.
Interesting. Is that you
Roy's our
played
boy.
every single one, right? You said?
I have played all of them, but like I haven't played the original Gaiden. I haven't played the original 3. But I've played the other ones, and I've watched playthroughs for all the games in like English translations. So
Nice. Series
Good
is so good.
stuff.
It's my
Yes, Fire
introduction
Emblem
into
is
strategy
amazing.
RPGs,
Mm-hmm.
from what I remember. But yeah.
Yeah, me too. Yeah, and it's like whenever I play another one, it never hits like Fire Emblem does. Like I've tried like Shining Force, and I've tried a couple other ones, but nothing ever hits quite like Fire Emblem does.
Yeah, there's an indie on Switch called Dark Deity. They tried to make like an indie Fire Emblem, and they had a good start. They didn't quite nail the landing, but they're making a sequel, so maybe the sequel will be better.
Never know. And I've also always heard Final Fantasy Tactics is like a phenomenal game too, in a very similar style.
Yep.
So
Yep.
I think that's also rumored to have a remake, but I'm not sure. That was a long time ago that was percolating. I feel like nothing's come of it yet.
Yep.
All right. Can I mention the next series that I'm sure
Of
we could all talk
course.
about?
No.
All right. But you're gonna like it. Wow. All right. Well,
Okay,
no, I'm
yes.
kidding.
Okay, yes.
So,
What you got?
anyway, so this all started, I would say, I don't remember if it was last year or 2022. I was like, you know what? I want to get into the Final Fantasy franchise. So, of
Hmm.
course, everybody talks about Final Fantasy VII. So, what do? I started with Final Fantasy VII. And this was, remake was already out. And I think I don't remember. The remake was already out. So, I was like, you know what? I want to play 7, and then I want to play Crisis Core Reunion, and then I want to play Remake. And then, yeah, so Remake was already out because I think Rebirth was announced.
Hmm.
And then I want to play Rebirth because I just want to start from the original and go all the way through the series. So of course, my buddy Patrick, huge Final Fantasy VII fan, uh, kept kind of telling me like, "Oh, you gotta start it, you gotta start it." And I was like, "You know what? I'm starting it." I remember I started up. I sent him a photo of right at the beginning when you're on the train and everything, and then he was
Hmm.
like, "Oh, you're starting! I can't wait to hear everything about it." Uh, Played through that whole game. I played it on the PS4, but like the original, version.
Hmm.
It was kind of nice having the little speed up function because
Hmm.
Times 3
without
speed
that,
up was essential for that game when I
yeah.
played it. Yeah.
Hmm.
Shout out to our buddy Christian who's playing on the original. I don't know.
He's
That
raw
got to
dog
be a little
gaming it
rough.
on
He is raw
freaking.
dog gaming it, but I do think that that's really cool. I've only ever played the PS4 port as well, so you definitely get spoiled with the times 3 speed.
Yeah,
For
like if I
sure.
went back to that now, like a one cool thing would be to like switch the disc out. That would be cool to actually do.
Hmm.
Like, but man, I don't know if I could get with that original speed because like I tried it on that and
Worst
Yeah,
when
I'm
you
it's
sure
when
I
you
could sit
play
through it.
when you play times 3 speed for a long time, then you turn it off and you're like dun 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 dun
Yeah,
dun
it's
dun 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 dun. Yeah, it's so bad.
it's very very
uh
slow.
but yeah, I was like hooked onto that game, dude. Like I was playing
So
that
good.
nonstop until I finished it. And the story, I know Craig mentions this a lot,
Hmm.
one of the greatest in
Yeah,
gaming.
it's
So
probably my
good.
favorite story in all of gaming, like overall. I think it's such a good, strong story.
I love getting to be
Yeah.
an eco-terrorist. It's a
Dude,
cool switch up.
it's my favorite life sim that I it's what I want to
Yeah.
do. Fulfilling my
That
dreams.
and then just another thing that we're mentioning with all these RPGs, the music is like
Hmm.
incredible. So good. And then I remember when I went to Crisis Core, like I played the remake, the reunion one.
Hmm.
But man, activating combat mode, combat resolve.
Activated
But dude,
combat mode.
I grew such a liking to Zack. Like I don't know, I might even say like I like Zack more than Cloud to be honest. But I
Well,
just
it's like
love his.
it's really cool to play Crisis Core after 7 because you're just like that's who this guy was. Like
Yeah,
it's like a majority of his screen time is like optional cutscenes in the original Final Fantasy 7, which is crazy.
Yeah.
yeah. And dude, when then like you have this whole new story with remake and rebirth, and they're kind of like throwing Zack into the fray. You see it in the trailers. I'm not gonna
Hmm.
say more because I don't want to spoil more. But dude, it's so incredible, and I can't wait to see what they do with the third one. Because, oh, and you may say, the remake and rebirth, they're not turn-based, but they're a JRPG. It's well, an action JRPG, and they are fun. And
You
that's what I
goddamn
will
right.
say. Sorry,
Yes.
Jason, but I like them. You know I like them.
Mm. Zach, was 7 your first Final Fantasy as well, or no?
Um, funny enough, 7 remake was.
Oh, okay.
So Final Fantasy is one of those series that I always felt guilty about not playing. And my brother, his favorite game ever is Final Fantasy 7. So he convinced me to play the remake when it came out. And then when I got to the end of remake, I was like, "Yo, what the hell is this? I got to go play the original." So then I played the original. Then
Oh, you're gonna stop.
I've since played 7, 8, 15, some of 14, 16. I played a handful of them. I want to play all of them. I've played just kind of like a random mishmash of Final Fantasy games, but
I think that's the best
Yeah.
way to experience Final Fantasy 2, honestly, is just kind of like be like, oh, that
Pick
one looks
one.
cool and like what I'm in the mood for right now, and you go with that. Because especially after 6, things start to drastically change. So
Yep.
Final Fantasy
I
is not a consistent series.
I kind of like it for that too. Square already has they have Dragon Quest for their turn-based. We're gonna do a turn-based game,
Yeah,
and I like that with Final
the
Fantasy.
most
They're being a little more like
traditional.
yeah, they're Final Fantasy.
Yeah.
They're getting weird with it. They're like changing genres and adding new like ideas and stuff like that. I think it's
And
cool.
doing futuristic and then like weird, like current day but not quite current day, and then fantasy, and then
Final Fantasy
medieval
15
fantasy, and then
15
going
is
to
so
the moon in fantasy, and just different wild things.
Yeah, cool
Yeah,
stuff.
because
Yeah.
7 was my first one as well. I played it semi alongside remake actually. Like I wanted to play remake, but I was like, I feel like I have to play the original first because I was like, I feel like this is a moment, like that I will appreciate more if I get the context of the original. And I was right. I think it was definitely worth playing it that way. And then after that, I played Final Fantasy 1 just because the Pixel remasters, when they came out on mobile, I was like, whatever. At the time, I had a job where I was able to have a lot of downtime, and that's how I played through that. And then when they put the Pixel remasters on console last year, I already played through 1 again. 1 for the trophies, and 2 just because I love 1 so much.
One was good. I played one.
One is actually in my top 3 Final Fantasies of the ones that I have played. I really like 1, just because it's like a cozy game to me.
Yeah.
It's like playing your first D&D campaign is how I always describe it, is what it feels like. It's super fun. And then last year I played through 1, 2, 3, 4, and 6. So I played a lot of Final Fantasy last year, and I had such a fantastic time with all of them. 3 is definitely my least favorite that I've played so far, honestly. 2 I think is the most overhated. I don't think that game is nearly as bad as people say. 4 and 6 are absolute masterpieces, just like 7 is.
Isn't-
So
Don't mean to interrupt, but
No,
like,
you're
isn't the leveling in 2 like different? Like, isn't
Yes.
it like you don't level up your characters?
no, you level
the
up
weapons?
individual stats, and I think
Something like
that's
that.
cool because you could literally build the characters exactly how you want them to play, and I think that's really cool. So I'm honestly all for that, and I thought it was a very interesting and unique way to play. And it's one of those things where it's like maybe the Pixel remasters made it more tolerable because of the quality of life improvements. Maybe it really sucks playing the NES or the Game Boy Advance or the PS1 versions of that, but I enjoyed it for what it is in the version that I played it. So, and it's like one of the first games to have like a real kind of like fleshed out story, even if it is on the simpler side. There is a ongoing plot throughout that game, and it's cool to see that in a game that's as old as that. So,
Neat. Yeah, I like started in the beginning. Well, I started with 7, but then I played 1 and I played 16. So I still got like all those middle ones that I need to get
Yeah.
to. Like I have the Pixel remaster, so I want to eventually do 2, 3, 4, 5, 6,
yeah.
and then get to the other ones.
Yeah, a lifelong goal of mine is to platinum all the mainline Final Fantasy games, which will be a Herculean task. So,
Does 14 count?
yeah.
Because
It's
I played,
mainline.
I played 14 for 50 hours and I have 0 trophies. Not
Are
a
you
single
serious?
goddamn trophy. Not a single one.
Dang.
That's terrible.
Yep.
No, yeah, I would like to do that. I have the platinum 1, 2, 3, 4, and 6. So I have 5. I need to go back and do it for 7. When I play 5, I'll get it. So as I get through them, and then when I was playing Final Fantasy X on my Vita, I was tracking with a guide to make sure I wasn't missing any collectibles. So I think it's achievable. I think it'll be really hard, but I think that
You
it's
can do it.
possible.
I'm sure you
It's like
could.
every time I play a Final Fantasy, I'm gonna make a point of like I'm gonna 100% and get the platinum
So,
kind of thing. So 14
does
will
that mean-
probably. I almost might just not include that because I feel like that's too
Yep.
much.
And same with 11 also. You can play
So-
11.
That means
Well,
you're
there's no
also
trophies
gonna.
for that because that wasn't on modern PlayStation. So
So that means
we're in
you're
the
also
clear.
gonna do remake and rebirth,
What was it?
or technically mainline.
11 is on PS2, Xbox 360,
I guess for
and
some reason I thought
and PC.
11 was on PS3, but I guess it's not, is it?
Nah, 14's
Yes.
on PS3. I don't think you can play it
Yeah,
anymore though. So
yeah, that's what I think. Yeah, you're
if
right.
there's crazy people out there with the platinums for that, that would be really cool. I do not think I would play or do the platinums for Remake and Rebirth. I'm probably wrong thinking this, but in my head I think of them as not mainline games. And I might be crazy for that take, but I kind of
Do
feel
you
like they're
count
not mainline
10-2 as
games.
a main?
So
Is 10-2 a mainline game?
I don't know. I mean, I think it is, right? It's a number. But because it's not a spin-off, it's a sequel. Well, it's a sequel to a mainline game, but then it's like you could kind of say that for Remake and Rebirth too. But I also just really don't want a Platinum Remake or Rebirth because those are total pains in the
That's the
asses.
main reason I haven't started this yet, because I'm trying to
I
Platinum
know.
Rebirth.
Exactly.
But
That's why I'm so spiteful towards it. I hate
it's
Final
tough.
Fantasy Rebirth
I gotta
now.
give props to Zach for that, dude. Like,
I know. Are you?
that's
Did
like
you
100.
do it? Did you finish it or no?
No, I haven't played in a couple weeks. I'm sitting at like 170 hours. I have like 2 combat challenges and 2 chapters
Holy
left. That's
shit.
all I gotta do.
It's
But
insane.
yeah,
crazy.
But yes, Final Fantasy, and I did want to bring up some Dragon Quest because obviously the most important JRPG series being the original JRPG. I have only ever beaten one Dragon Quest game, and that is Dragon Quest One. I really did enjoy
So
it. I
that's
thought it was a lot
Dragon
of fun.
Warrior.
Sorry,
Okay.
well, whatever. Well, that's not true because I played Dragon Quest One on my iPhone, so it was called
Okay.
Dragon Quest.
You didn't get
And,
your free copy through Nintendo Power.
I know I wasn't fucking born yet when that happened. So
That's how
I don't
Jason
think-
got it.
that's so
Uh,
cool.
He probably says it in his
that is
rating,
really
so I'm
cool.
not gonna say it, but
But yeah, I love the original Dragon Quest. It's as simple could be, but there's something cool about, it just being such a straightforward adventure. You could beat it in like one sitting if you really wanted to. And there's no party members, it's just you on your lonesome journey. And it's a cool, fun experience. So I would definitely recommend it to any fan of the genre. I don't know if you guys have much Dragon Quest experience or not, but it's something I shamefully don't have enough of. I want to play through all of those eventually as well.
I'm really looking forward to the 1, 2, 3 HD 2Ds.
Yeah,
Yes.
that would be cool.
The only one I've played, and I was gonna shout it out, Dragon Quest 11S Echoes of Elusive Age Definitive Edition. Um,
Gotta say the whole
incredible,
name.
incredible game. That game is one of the best, just one of the best games I've ever played. Great, like it has characters that you like really care about, and it makes you care about them the entire like 100 hours that you had to go through the whole thing. And then every time the Dragon Quest theme kicks in, I just get hyped up. It's so good. Yeah.
yeah,
That's great.
Akira Toriyama artwork, top tier.
Yes.
I don't have
definitely.
like too much experience with the Dragon Quest series yet. Like Zach said, I do want to play the 1, 2, and 3 HD remake when they come out. The only Dragon Quest game per se I played was the Monsters game on the Switch.
Oh,
So,
okay.
I played that one.
That was like a Pokemon clone, right?
Yeah, essentially. But the mainline ones I do want to get through. I've been trying to like collect them all because I know I'll like the series, so I want them. But dude, some of the DS remakes and some of them, they're expensive.
Yeah, they're a lot of money.
I
They're
got,
very
like-
expensive.
I got 4 and 9, but like 5 and 6 are just crazy. Like,
Yeah, and five. I feel like 5, 8, and 11 are like the 3 that people usually say is the best or their favorite. So, and
yeah,
I've played a little bit of 11. I didn't get super far. Same with 8. Played a little bit, didn't get super far, but I definitely want to get back to them eventually. I thought about playing all of 11 in the pixel art mode because I thought that'd be funny and interesting. But apparently, then you don't see any cutscenes. So I'm like, I don't know. I feel like I'd be missing out on a lot. What I would really love to do is play the 3DS version, but we didn't get it in America. So
We didn't get that in America?
no, that was a
Oh, I
they
didn't know
didn't
that.
localize it. Yeah, and it has like a
didn't
totally
realize
different
that.
art style. It's super interesting. So
I just
there might
assumed that was
be
here.
there might be like a patch like fan translation, but I'm not totally sure if there is. If there was, I'd probably play it that way just because I love any excuse to play on my 3DS.
Yeah, I recommend playing 11. That's one of those. Next time you have 100 hours, burn a hole in
Free
your pocket.
time.
Go ahead and play Dragon Quest 11 Echoes of Elusive Age Definitive Edition.
I can't. I need to play Persona 4 a third time for the Platinum Trophy. I apologize.
There you go. Understood.
No problem. Have a good day. All right. I don't know if you guys have any more games you want to mention, or we could get to some audience write-ins because we have quite a few.
Just quick shout out. I don't want to get into it.
Mm-hmm.
Modern, like new takes on like um, traditional JRPG games. The Octopath Traveler games. I love both those games.
Yeah, those are cool.
Yeah. So, and brought in the whole HD 2D renaissance that Square's going with, which I love all those games. I've played every single one they've put out so far. So.
Yes, and of course I have to shout out my beloved Panzer Dragoon Saga again, one of the greatest games of all time that people just aren't
Never
able to
heard of
play.
it.
I've talked about it quite a lot on this show because I always like to talk about it, but shout out to Panzer Dragoon Saga. It's super unique art style, music, combat system, just an absolute masterpiece that everybody should emulate if you have a PC strong enough to do so. Or a Steam Deck. Steam Deck should be able to run it, so.
Yeah. So I don't per se have more that I want to mention, but I do want to say some that I want to eventually get to that are like on the
Yeah,
top
of
of my
course.
list. Quite a few, honestly. But like, for one, the Trail series, this
Yeah.
giant time blind list. You know,
I downloaded that same list onto my phone, so I knew the order to play them in. That's funny,
Yeah,
that
dude.
exact same
Kinda-
photo.
Trails in the Sky, second chapter, third, Trails from Zero, Cold Steel, Azure, 2, 3, 4, Reverie, Daybreak, Daybreak 2. One day I'll get through that, and the list will
Yeah.
probably be
That's
twice
for
the
when you
size.
have 2,000 hours of free time.
So once I hit retirement, I plan to do that.
There you go. And there'll be
I
I
30
can't wait
more
to
games
retire
by
and just
then.
play video games until I die. It's gonna be awesome.
God,
That'd
isn't that
be
going to be
great.
the best?
We'll get there eventually. But the Breath of Fire series,
Yeah.
heard good things about those. I want to check those out. The Xenogears, like all the kind of Xeno games, I would like to check those out.
Mhm.
And then also they're on NSO now, so I mean I could play them. The Golden Sun games.
Yeah.
Those are ones I really want to check out sometime. So those are just ones I wanted to mention quickly.
Yeah. Same for basically all those for me. There's so much out there, and it's hard because it's like once you find a series you like, I feel like it's easier to just commit to that series because these games are such time sinks, and it's like you're like, oh, that's another entry in Fire Emblem. I know I'm gonna like it because I like Fire Emblem. Opposed to starting something new, playing 10 hours and you're like, oh, this isn't for me. I just wasted 10 hours. I could have been playing Fire Emblem instead.
Yeah,
It's-
once you're
it's
caught
hard
up,
when
it's easy
these-
to buy the new ones. So.
Well, yeah, and it's tough because, most games are 10 to 15 hours or so, and it's like, that's about like a fourth of most of these games. So it's just much more of a commitment than the average game. But I think that's why people love JRPG so much, because it's like you kind of get the most bang for your buck out of it. It's like this will last you a long time. So
I mean, I'm gonna buy every Xenoblade game that comes out until the history of time. Now that I played the all three of them on the Switch, they're all great games.
Did you play all the DLC too?
I'm dedicated.
I've played
Oh
one
my
in its
gosh.
DLC, 3 in its DLC. I have not played 2's DLC, but I've played 2.
There
When
you
I
go.
start the Trail series, I am ready. All right, I
He's
got
ready.
Cold Steel 1. I don't have Cold Steel 4, but I have Cold Steel 1, 2, 3, 0, and Azure. And then I got Reverie on the PS5.
So he's
Nice.
ready. It's a shame the only way that you could play all of those games on one system though is on PC or Steam.
Yeah.
That does make me kind of sad, but I'll probably end up splitting between the PC and PS4. I wanted to play the Cold Steel games on my Vita, but apparently a lot of the quality of life features aren't there that are on the PS4 version. So I just feel like it'd be so good as a handheld game.
Probably would, yeah.
Oh well. Alright, some audience write-ins about their favorite JRPGs and other comments on JRPGs. Matt wrote in, said the Dragon Quest series is his favorite. Dragon Quest 8 on the PS2 was his first JRPG as a kid and got him into JRPGs altogether. So, shout out to Dragon Quest. Next up,
Love you, Mitt.
hope you packed a lunch. Jason wrote us a long one. He said, hello all. Jason here once again. My first RPG was Dragon Warrior 1 on the NES, which we all now know was actually called Dragon Quest, but due to copyright concerns of a tabletop game called Dragon Quest, they changed it to Dragon Warriors in the US. The first Dragon Warrior game was not actually published by Enix in the US, but was published by Nintendo. They had made a bunch of copies of the game expecting it to have great sales, but RPG was not that popular here in the US. Some would argue that the popularity of RPGs wouldn't really happen until the release of Final Fantasy VII, but more on that later. Now back to my story on my first RPG. As mentioned before, my first RPG was Dragon Warrior 1, and the way I received it was since no one was buying the game, they were giving away a free copy of the game when you subscribed to Nintendo Power. At the time, I had no real interest in RPGs, but after playing the first Dragon Warrior, I was hooked to that glorious turn-based combat. You know what I'm talking about, don't you, Zach? Is what he says. After that, I started to play any RPG I could get my hands on, starting with Final Fantasy 1, and of course, as long as it was turn-based as well. As for the legacy of the first Dragon Quest, as endured that the game has had many ports, and may I say remakes, any yet, it's getting another remake coming out in 2025, and I'm sure it'll stay very close to in origin to the original release on NES, than say some other remake. Would any other co-host like to comment on this write-in?
Seems like a nice guy.
The silent treatment.
Oh man, I love it.
Alright, here, this will make you feel better. John writes in and says, "Hello, John here, and my favorite JRPG is the Mario and Luigi games."
Let's go, John. Best J named person in the chat.
We do pick favorites on this podcast. We do pick favorites.
Yeah.
Hector
Got two
wrote in.
ongoing gags on here though. We got
So
turn based, and then we got
E.T.
ET.
Hector said, "My favorite JRPG is Pokemon Ruby. That's my first ever game my mom ever bought me, and I still have it in my collection." Hell
Best
yeah.
gen.
Shout
Best
out
generated.
to having childhood copies of games. It always feels good when you have a copy that is truly that old and still yours. Makes me happy. Patrick writes in, says, "This is Patrick. My favorite JRPG is Final Fantasy VII. It was the third JRPG I ever played, and it came out when I was limited mobility due to a broken ankle, and it provided the escape I needed at the time. The music, the world, the cinematics, all of it came together to make the experience that got me hooked on JRPGs. I still remember the first time I experienced the end of Disc 1 and the tears it produced, the first time a game ever made me emotional, though the big Suikoden death almost got me. The climb down the crater at the end and the battles with Genova and Sephiroth were epic at the time, and they're still epic today in my opinion." That's me saying that, not him.
Genova
Experimenting
theme?
with materia combos was a lot of fun too. So yeah,
Very
lots
nice.
of
Patrick.
Final Fantasy VII love.
Patrick, shout out to you for getting me into Final Fantasy VII. So
Hell yeah. Life-changing game, if you ask me. It definitely
just
sets
quick
the
comment.
standards high.
Quick comment on the materia thing. That's one of my favorite things about Seven is the hidden materia ways they interact with each other that doesn't like explicitly say when you use this one and this one it does this. You just
Yeah.
have to like know that it does something cool. That's always a neat thing for this. But
Yeah, it's super cool. Yeah, Final Fantasy VII, obviously one of the most spoiled games of all time. Yeah, it has the spoiler, which is the equivalent to Luke, I am your father for video games. We won't mention it in case anyone out there doesn't know, just in case, but definitely a tearjerker moment. And just, phenomenal. Absolutely phenomenal.
we were
God, I
we were
love Final
wondering
Fantasy VII.
if that was going to happen in Rebirth, and me and Patrick made a bet on that, and I ended up having to buy him dinner. So I was like,
awesome.
nah, I think maybe we'll adjust it a little bit. Maybe it'll happen in part 3. Nope. So
I'll give you all a hot take on that after we stop recording. On
Oh,
that
I'm
moment.
glad. I'm excited to hear
Okay.
that. Well, that's it. That is all of our write-ins. I think we've kind of gone over all of our things. We've mentioned a lot of our favorites, of course. Shout out to JRPGs, the best video game genre, in my opinion. Zach, any closing thoughts for the people today?
No. JRPGs are great, and I can't wait to hopefully start a new series that I will love in a couple days.
Hell yeah. Tyler, any closing thoughts for the people?
same as Zach said, JRPGs are great. I'm probably gonna go back to Persona 3 Reload myself, and also want to say, go check out my videos, please.
Yes, of course.
Yeah.
Yes,
Let me know what
Tyler.
you think.
I want to
Sorry?
amend my comment and say go see Tyler's channel again. That's what I want to say instead.
There you go.
Yeah.
Yeah, so Tyler's got 2 videos. Y'all better go check out, subscribe, comment, like, share with your friends, share with your grandma, share with your coworker. Zach, do you have anything coming up on your channel soon?
I've got a couple videos I'm working that are like taking a little longer. I'm gonna do like a quick one this weekend, just for like games I'm excited for coming out in September.
Mhm.
But the next big one, I want to do another N64 NSO video. I'm not sure when that'll come out, but
Hell yeah.
So
What's my
real
next
quick,
video gonna be, you might
oh,
ask? I don't know. I
that's what I
haven't
was.
decided yet. So
That's what I
we'll
was
figure
gonna
it out.
bring up. I was gonna say Craig was after me for months about making a channel. I make a channel and I put up 2
I
uploads
know. I
in the
made a
span of
comment
before he made
on
one.
our friend's Discord. I was just like, his upload frequency is already better than mine.
Right now it's every Thursday. Don't know if I have another one next Thursday, but that's the
Well, you know
frequency.
what? If you count the podcast, I upload at least 2 times a month. So that's
and then
something.
you're on Bird Dog Gaming's channel at least twice a month.
Exactly. My favorite thing to do on YouTube is not make videos for my own channel. I like being on other people's channel. I find it much more fun. But yeah, I do have some videos planned. It's just a matter of, it's a long weekend, so it's like maybe I'll be able to find the time to do a couple
Want to
things.
see that plush collection?
God, I know, but it's so much work.
Do a collecting all versions of Persona 3 video.
I think I have them all, so I probably could. Well, that's not true because I don't have the special edition of the new game. There's like, every game has a limited edition with a statue now, and I'm just like, I don't have room for any statues, so I didn't do it. But if you want to say those were variants, I can do every version of Persona 3. I just have to go out and buy an Xbox One version. So, and I don't know if I want to buy an Xbox One game for my discless Xbox Series S.
Jason did that for Mega Man, like, because he wanted to get every Mega Man game, so he bought like
Mhm.
all the Xbox versions, all the Switch versions, all the PS4
Hell yeah.
versions. Yeah.
Yeah, it was easier being a Persona collector before they started going multi-plat because you just had to buy it for PlayStation. It was a lot simpler a few years ago. Like, they
Yeah.
released all the versions of 5 Royal because it was just PS4. Now it's on Switch and Xbox and PS5, and I was like, I'm not buying it 3 more times.
And now
I
I
was
got
like, I
like
maybe
5
would have bought it
special
one more
editions.
time.
They got so many special editions that they named their last one like One Last Edition.
Yeah, I know, because it was the third special edition they did for that damn game. It was ridiculous. And I was like, I already have the first two. I should have bought the third one just to have all 3, but I was like, I literally have no more room on my Persona shelves, so it wasn't going to happen. But that was episode 11 of Generations Behind. Next episode, Ape Escape. Be sure to play along. Be sure to subscribe, comment, share with your friends, share it with your grandma, share it with your coworker. We appreciate you all watching. We love you very much. Thank you for support. And we'll see you in the next episode. No fireworks this time.
Yeah, no fireworks.
Hey,